planted.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to episode 11 of SpikeTalk. I'm Baby Bay. I'm here with your boy Frost versus you, Frost. What's good, brother? Another week.
What's up, man? Yes, sir.
Put the one down. Nice win.
Another season.
Let's just get straight into the drama. The Boostio drama, bro. That's what it is. So, we saw that Zellsis video. You linked it in our Discord chat. We got to watch it over. There's a lot to unpack about it. I will say, Zellsis has a point. You're a pro. You're joining a team like 100 Thieves. You got to know you're going to be doing content for sure. Now, that being said, I don't doubt that the schedule was crazy. And we talked about something before the event even happened, before Shanghai even happened, on this show specifically, talking about how teams that actually go that do not win are going to be at a disadvantage. And I think you're seeing that right now in full effect, right? Boostio coming back home. All of a sudden, he's got to do all this content going into stage 2. Doesn't have enough time to make adaptations. Struggles in the match.
I mean, we talked about the teams that go to Shanghai. I don't think they realize it's actually hurtful towards their chances in the next season, and the next season is the most important season. I had the whole right. We spent a whole show talking about it, and I think people I think ego gets in the way. I think people really think that, you're good if you make a major. The thing is, majors don't matter no more. And I keep trying to tell people, if they're not automatic qualifiers to the show, doesn't matter. Champs is what matters. And
it is.
Every team owner, trust me, when you talk to them, champs is the only thing that matters. They don't care about anything else. So, yeah, I think it's just, I think players are eventually going to realize that this is probably more hurtful to your season than helpful. And you want to play your best Valorant at the end of the year, not in the beginning, right? So, unlucky.
But yeah, in terms of the content schedule and everything like that, how do you feel about that personally? Because me being as a player, I always saw the value in doing content. I felt like you should be doing it no matter what, even though it can be annoying and kind of cringe sometimes. But bro, low key, unless you're just here to just play, content goes a long way. And I didn't mean to rhyme on that on purpose, but it does rhyme, and it is bars. But it's facts, though. I mean, you got to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've always hated it. I've never liked it. That's why even on flip side, I didn't force players to do it. But I didn't understand sort of at that time that the industry would go in such a way that it would become really more entertainment than sports, right? Like sports entertainment. For the most part, most of sports entertainment is still sports. Yeah, I didn't realize. So sorry, Steve, obviously. I never really understood that how big this would be, which is why, even myself, right, for years and years, we talked on the episode about Steve trying to tell me a decade ago to do things like what I'm doing now, or stream, be more personable face and stuff. That's not, the truth is, it's not who I am. It's not what I like, right? And it's kind of weird because I feel like in some ways, the way I grew up, and I'm sure this is some ways for other people, the way I grew up really kind of messed things up, because in New York City, there are phrases like, talk shit, get hit. And that actually happens. So you don't normally like to just air drama out or air shit out or opinions that you have about other people, because they can be real consequences, dangerous consequences, right?
Yeah.
They always say, if you're real, you move in silence. You don't talk about being about the life. You are just about the life.
You are about it, yeah.
Right. So I grew up with these things. So then when you have the areas or the era of social media and esports, and you have all these things, I didn't go around going oh, I want a world championship in this game. I want a world championship in this game. I want a world championship in this game. But when you think about it, just go look at F3 and look at the championships and look at the fact that I was basically coaching 3 teams, especially in 1 year. And we're winning.
Pretty impressive.
Right. But I don't talk about that stuff. I don't talk about my CS making 8 majors in a row. Because I just don't, because I grew up not talking about it. That doesn't mean it doesn't hurt you, right? For instance, we'll talk about this after the season is over, but there's one GM in APAC in particular that was so disrespectful in an interview that I basically got the gist at that moment that this guy has not only done no research about me, I don't even think this guy knows esports at all, right? Because, so if you don't do these media obligations, it's very difficult for people to, for one, establish who you are or what you've done, because most people don't care about other people, first off, right? I think that's probably the most glaring and the only real positive I think about social media at this point is that I think there's so much of it now, people realize other people do not care about you. For a whole period, we started to only put all of our good things and accomplishments and all that stuff on social media, and it created this fallacy that everyone's lives is perfect and great, right? I think now that facade is over. I think now people realize that's all people do, right? So it's no longer the net negative that it used to be. But yeah, I think players haven't understood those certain elements. I think they also don't understand the challenges that come with what really matters in Valorant and how do you accomplish that goal. Because if your goal to me this year was to make Madrid and Shanghai and not champs, or if your goal is I want to make champs, you had to have understood, because I've been saying it from episode 2 or 3. Madrid and Shanghai do not matter. They don't.
Unless you win it, unless you win it and get those points, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I agree.
It's only gonna hurt you,
dude. You could have won both events, made all that money winning that shit. If you don't make champs somehow, but obviously if you win both events, you're gonna make it. But still, let's say hypothetically, you make both Madrid and Shanghai, you win them both, and you somehow still don't have enough points to qualify for champs, bro. You could be the sickest team in the game, bro. Doesn't matter at all. Everything you just won goes out the window because you're not even at champs. I mean, I don't think that's possible, obviously. If you get first both events, you'll probably win off of points.
No, 100%. But you make a good point. Look at Gen G.
You know what I'm trying to say, yeah.
No, exactly. Look at Gen G, yeah. Gen G's 3-3 in our season. Or in our group. We have more season points than Gen G. And Gen G just won Shanghai.
That's crazy.
This is what I'm saying, because they had such a miserable first season. But they had a miserable first season because what do? Well, first off, they got blessed by Riot, but let's not talk about that, because after Madrid, their first game is us. That was my second game, and I play them on a back-to-back within 36 hours. I had Superweek week 1.
Yeah.
And then, by the way, I have Superweek this week against DRX. We have Superweeks against 2 of the top 3 teams in the league. What are we doing, Riot?
So real quick,
that's not the point.
Just real quick, I have a question about that. Are you guys the only region that has the back-to-back games like that? Because I swear,
bro, I don't know, but it
doesn't feel like there's back-to-back games in NA.
It's so
for example, and
brother.
We're gonna get to this, but RRQ played you guys, and then 2 days later they played DRX. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm like, wow, this is a fast turnaround that you have to do. Is that
so true?
Is that what the Super Week is? Was that?
Yeah. This is our Super Week.
Their Super
bullshit.
Week?
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
And then they talk about competitive integrity, and I'm just like, yeah. Anyways, so yeah. As for the Zellsis and
let's get back to
Boostio drama. The truth is, I think Zellsis' video pretty much says every point that I would otherwise make. What I'm impressed by is that it came from a player, because remember, used to be an org owner, right? I've been a GM and a shepherd of many teams' divisions beyond Flipside as well. Coach, blah, 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 player in 2011, going back, but so I was impressed by that, because I think in Valorant, at least, the only players that completely understood where orgs were coming from were Hiko and Nitro. Everybody else is pulling teeth. Really, it's pulling teeth, and it's arguments, and it's but yeah. So I was impressed by that. I thought it was funny. I will only say this: the only reason the situation even gets bad in the first place is because there's no communication. But I understand what it's like to be on 100 Thieves and not be able to communicate with anybody, or people just straight up not listening, or people just don't care, don't answer emails. 3 weeks will go by and you don't get a response from people that are supposed to. Trust me, I know what the deal is. So him just airing it out obviously wasn't cool. The response from the other side also wasn't cool, but it is what it is. This is just what it is. This is just how some people operate, and you got to respect it. That's their shit. For me, I thought it was a whole lot of nothing, but I thought that Zellsis' perspective was interesting because I can say that I haven't really seen players, I think, understand both sides as much. And I will certainly tell you, I showed you our content schedule for Talon. You see, it's pretty robust.
Yeah.
And I mean this with no disrespect. Most of my players hate it and have complained very openly many times this season, many times this year about this. They don't like it right now.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them have had Zellsis' perspective. And this is no shot. It's just facts, right? So I think that is probably the best way to surmise, I think, that entire situation is through his content that he made. But I think I understand Boostio's frustration. We've talked about that. That's how we got into that whole thing on the show anyway, like right after you asked the question. Yeah. And I think he's just now beginning to realize that that's a thing because remember, EG was not doing well last year in the seasons, right? If it wasn't for MIBR beating 100 Thieves, they wouldn't have even made Tokyo. They go on a run from that point on the moment they get Demon 1 up. So he doesn't even know what it's like to go through an entire season on like a good team or a big team with like expectations. His team didn't have any expectations. You know what I mean? So for him, this is new for him too. So now he's the big dog. Now he's like, the guy.
He feels the pressure.
And now he feels it all season. And now he's like, yo, what the is this? And I think they were so happy. So for them, that's why I went back to ego. And it's not in a bad way. We all have egos.
You have to have an ego.
Oh, we made Shanghai. We won the season. We're great. We're this. Yeah, but you forget 8.11 is coming and now you're behind. Which is why if you look at their comps and you look at our comps, right, Talon's comps, you notice we're playing two different games. And that's an unfortunate byproduct of being put in a position where you're playing a long season on the wrong patch. And then a wrong post season on the wrong patch. And then you have no time to prepare for the new patch. Because even though they probably have more coaches than I do, I'm assuming all their coaches were focused on just one thing, right? Like that's a little, like that's just kind of how normal people operate. And I empathize with all of them, right? Because I understand this system is kind of jank, and you have to have the foresight to understand what's important, what's not important, and you have to hit it at the right time. And losing to an 0-5 team, by the way, is not how you wanted to start season 2, right? Like, so I can get from Boostio's perspective why he just aired it out. I just think that, again, going back to where I come from, you don't really air out dirty laundry like that. Like all the things I say, even the shit that got me in trouble earlier about like Fury and shit, we talk about this. I will never just not air, like, we're going to air a timeout video later when we talk about our game. I asked Cruz, is this okay? He just laughed and said, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you don't air out dirty laundry if it's going to be problematic, right? Is the way I'll say it. And I don't think it was problematic because I think Nadeshot has dealt with this before. His response, obviously, is like, why? Right? Just be like, yeah, I'll talk to him later about it. It just is what it is. And then actually talk to him about it and then go, yo, what the fuck, man? You know what I mean? But I think it's the way this industry works. I think overall that situation is still a benefit to 100 Thieves. Right? It's like crazy how that works, but it's a benefit because people are talking about them.
Even more
people are engaged in both the streams, of course, because I'm sure their streams get a bump. And this is the psychology, I think, of just how everything is. And this isn't a shot to them. This is just like, this is a state of society and just how people are, or maybe commentary on how young Valorant is. But like, shit like that bumps their stream numbers because people are expecting it to both continue or for it to get worse. And I just think that is just like such fucking perspective that I still cannot as a human wrap my head around, because that to me is just not normal. You know what I mean? Like,
even bad PR is good PR, dude. Like, seriously. It sounds messed up.
That to me,
it's a real thing.
Yeah, it's just either I'm too immature or too stupid. It just doesn't register with me why that would be the case, really. because to me, when I saw both of those things, it's not like I immediately went.
It looked
I haven't turned
unprofessional.
on either one of those streams. I don't want to. I don't care. That's their shit.
It looked unprofessional the way it all went down, for sure.
I mean,
needs
yeah,
to be
but
more
that's the industry,
right?
Yeah, but the thing is, that's the industry,
I
bro.
know. We talked about
that's
this,
how
though. It's gotta
90%
change.
of these organizations are, bro.
I know,
Is
but
shit
if we
like
want to
this,
level
bro.
up, listen, every gamer out there, every org, if we want to level up in this realm, if we actually want to make this be on the same level as traditional sports, we got to be more professional about everything. It's got to be from the top down, bro. You're 100% right. I think that Nate Shot, I mean, first of all, he's just in a different level because he's a streamer still himself, right? So he's like a pro player who owns an org who's still doing content. So it
champion,
it
like
makes it
he
good
has
for
his
him to
own
do this,
gravity.
Right?
Yeah,
it's a different. It's a different.
Like to me, I think. Yeah, I think to me he has more cultural responsibility in esports than like, let's say me, for instance.
Than being more professional.
Because like if I go, yo, fuck you on this show, and then like, air out bullshit between us, and the show ends, it doesn't matter, right? But if he were to do that, it is like a seismic event in our industry. You know what I'm saying? So like the gravity he holds, and then like because he's attached to his company, the gravity that the company holds with the players, which allows their voices to like, you know what I'm saying? It's like this whole thing is a fascinating case study one day for someone about like the human experience and or like some sort of social experiment, because it's just crazy. I think that like everything I've learned in my life, all the rules that I've learned, which is probably why I'm not as successful as I should be given the performance record I have.
No, it's not your fault.
It's like everything I've learned is the exact opposite in this space. And it's like sometimes it's like I feel borderline useless because I'm just like I didn't see it coming. That's why I reluctantly accepted to do this, because I realized, okay, I'm in Korea now. Like if I'm not good enough to be in NA and I'm in Korea, that must mean or it was really when I had like two of these teams go, who are you again? Well, what have you done? And then when they hire the people they hire, I'm like, what?
Yeah. It happened to me too.
Then I started to realize, whoa, I'm tripping,
dude.
So,
dude, I mean, it happened to me with gameplay. I thought that I didn't realize how far the streaming. I think I spoke about this. I guarantee you, if I would have kept on streaming when I was streaming, and I had like 6,000 to 10,000 viewers, I probably would have been on a team to this day easily, because people are watching me actively. They think I could have been way worse than I am. And in fact, when I was streaming, I actually do think I was way worse than I am now. But it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, practice reps.
People are seeing me play.
It's not the same.
Yeah, they're not. But people are seeing me play. They're seeing me get these clips on stream, bro. They're seeing my face all the time. You know what I mean, bro? And I'm not gonna disclose who this coach was, but I had a coach in Tier 1. Pretty much, like I sent him a VOD of my gameplay, and he watched it and he was like, I didn't know you could aim. And I'm like, bro, that's all people thought I could do for the longest time. Like, how did this narrative change?
What is he talking about?
How did this narrative change?
I didn't even know you when I knew you could do that.
I thought my whole narrative, my entire career was I was all aim, no brain. You know what I mean? That's what I thought it was. But this is what I'm saying though. When you leave the limelight like that, when you're not in the light all the time, people are so quick to forget who you actually were. So that's why it is good to keep on social media, and this is why for everybody out there, players, aspiring players, even coaches, whatever the fuck it is, man, social media is so important, because it just has your name. You're pumping yourself out there at all times. It's all hindsight. I probably wish I would have kept on streaming at that time. That doesn't mean I can't stream now. It's tough streaming though. Streaming's like balancing out streaming and playing is really fucking hard. And that's another thing with Boostio. It's like, bro,
that's no.
Not only are you doing content.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's another reason why people always go like. People always say this to me actually, that I glaze Hiko, I glaze Spencer. I haven't talked to Spencer in the last 3 years. I've talked to Spencer maybe 3 times.
Yeah,
we don't have the friendship or relationship anymore that we did. That's just life.
It's natural.
But the reason I always give him his flowers is because, brother, he would stream from 9 a.m. to 12, practice at 1, end at 10 every single night.
Yeah.
Never complained, almost never missed practice, and
Professional.
was at least a force in the game when he needed to be, obviously in clutches and all that stuff. And I know people will complain about, oh, his Sova's a beta, or he's trash, and some of his teammates will say the same shit too. And some of his teammates are fucking idiots, and I still think they're idiots to this day, because players are players are players are players. But in reality, when you look at what makes a team, you need what he had, but also very few people could do what he does. I hear the complaints even from my players about this practice schedule. As a matter of fact, disclaimer, people are going to get real pissed about this from the Thai community. I made 2 Thai players in tryouts quit because of the tryout schedule, and because they just think I'm, I guess, a ginormous asshole. Unlucky. But just imagine this. Just imagine that schedule. And Spencer's like, that schedule, let me add a streaming schedule on top of that. Like, people do not understand how hard it is to do exactly what you just mentioned. And I'm always going to shout out Spencer because of that, because it is still to this day one of the highest work rates and one of the highest work ethics I think I've ever seen up close. Period. Full stop. Sorry. Did not mean to interrupt you, bro.
No, you're good. I mean, yeah, I was gonna get to that for Boostio. I'm like, basically, if you're having a hard time balancing all this stuff, but you're also streaming at the same time, you know, you gotta pick the pick and balance, bro. You can't be doing all 3 at the same time.
Pot calling kettle,
you know?
eh?
Do you know what I'm saying though? It's like,
oh no, trust
like
me, I know. I just didn't want to go.
But
there.
you're streaming, but you know what I mean. But you're streaming.
Listen,
and
bro.
Boostio, he's my boy. He knows. Like we had a lot of fun in Shanghai at the after party when they lost everything. He knows, and also I'm sure he's not going to air out stuff again like this. I think it's a lot just people don't understand again the stress that you guys are going through. Like I can't even imagine what it's like right now.
That is true.
And we're all gonna have our moments where we explode, bro. You know, it is what it is. And honestly, it could have been way worse. This shit could have been way worse. But low key, he was going off the deep end a little bit. But anyways, we'll move past it.
Yeah. I mean, look, people are people, and obviously, I agree with what you said. I think now that this situation has happened, they will reconcile, and when they reconcile, they'll have the conversation of like, yo, next time some shit happens, it's come to me first, bro. And I think that is ultimately going to make everything better over there, which I think is a good thing. Last thing on the topic, important note, this is like a coaching moment. Conflict is good despite what people say. I know we have this culture, especially in LA, and I know we have the culture within the people that are caretakers of this game, that conflict isn't good. But the reason why conflict resolution is important specifically is because you need conflict to both evolve, and you need conflict to strengthen and grow. And I will leave no other evidence in this conversation other than that's why going to the gym is good. You tear your own muscles and it gets repaired. Facts. The reason why conflict resolution is so important and why people make so much money, you know, in the field of therapy, right, is simply because learning how to make it productive is the art. Mm-hmm. But I think that conflict that they just had is ultimately going to make everyone stronger. It should. Certainly I know you've been on teams and in situations where egos get involved, and now you don't want to mess with this guy because he did this one thing that one time. And trust me, humans like that exist, and people like that in the scene exist. But I think if it's handled properly, they will just be stronger from it, and I think they'll both learn from it, and I think now it'll just be moving forward much different. But shout out to Zellsis for, I think, really understanding it from both sides. And most young people don't.
Yeah, he sees the value in it. Yeah, that's why he's been selling all those fucking skins, man.
Yeah, he made a comment too, which was like, "Yo, I think I could sell the bundle better than every other team."
He's right.
Like, I could sell their bundles better than them, which I actually think he's right about.
He's fucking right.
But it is kind of fucking hilarious when you actually think of it in context. So
it is. But yeah, I mean that'll be it for the Boostio drama. I got my own little set of drama that I don't understand. I don't understand why EDG is doing what they're doing right now. I think that they're lost. I don't see why they picked this Simon guy up. I think they looked like poo-poo. in the last match.
Yeah.
They're just
Crossfire
lost, man.
boys.
Bro, they're
Look,
lost, bro.
I don't know.
But they
must be
picked up
internal
Woode.
conflict.
Woode's not even playing, and then they pick up the Simon guy who, like, if you look at this guy's stats, bro, and I'm not a stats guy by any means. Like I've always stats don't paint the whole picture. But my dog, you picked up a player that isn't positive on a single agent, bro. How? How, bro? Let me shoot you this.
Okay,
Let me
I'm
shoot
gonna
you
be
this.
devil's advocate here. I'm gonna get
Bro.
devil's advocate, but
Bro, look
maybe
at your Discord right
you know
now.
how
Look at your
sometimes you
Discord right
need.
now.
Okay, sometimes you
Bro.
need a guy that is gonna do the dirty work.
Bro, yes.
And
but
I had a conversation.
But my guy, find a guy that could do the dirty work decently. Here, I'll post it for you too if you wanna.
No,
if you wanna put this up there, Steve. Yeah,
it's
fuck it. I don't know who you are, Simon. I'm sorry. But my God, bro, go farm some tier 2 tournaments or something, bro.
Yeah. So I had a conversation with Legia about this.
Poor guy, bro. Poor guy. Bro.
Yesterday.
Actually,
so me and Legia were talking about it because
put the stats away, bro.
There's a map that we play that we're gonna play here in the next 2 days, and he goes, "Why isn't Ban on this agent?"
Mm-hmm.
And my response to him was pretty simple. It's like, Ban could play this agent. He used to, right? The problem is, in my opinion, so I came into this year wanting the 1-2 punch, like Kez of the Heat that we talked about, to be Governor and Ban, right?
Yeah.
And you saw the Neon Yoru and you saw all that shit early on to kick off and, right? Like, and then I started to understand the dynamics of the team and what we needed and, what I think would make us better or whatever. And I went away from that, right? I started moving Ban everywhere to do everything on certain maps, right? Especially because of like specific tactics and like how I envisioned playing the map. I was like, oh, in this area, I need Ban. Okay, what agent is going to be here the most? Blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
And what I also have realized about Joseph is, and this is no shot to him, but on a team level, you'll see it in the timeout. He is an excellent teammate, right? And he displays leadership in that area, which you can probably attest to now. You know what I mean? But he's not going to do the dirty work for people. For instance, if I have this guy in a flash setup for 30 seconds, that's not the guy you want to do that, one. And two, Joseph is going to call that shit off and go, nah, bro, fuck that. I'm going to do this and I'm going to kill this guy. So that's his instinct. That is his instinct. His instinct is not, I think, if I could say this respectfully, he's not a caretaker. He's not a steward of tactics. He's a destroyer. That's just it. He's a destroyer. And guys like that, you don't put at the support spot unless you have to, or unless there's some sort of like, thing that you envision. And I had to tell this to Legia because he's like, and the thing is, he's very right. He's actually very right. He's smart, right? So he knows his shit. He's like, dude, why don't you put that guy there? That's the guy you need at that spot. I'm like, yeah, but there's other intangibles of that position that Joseph just doesn't have. I'd rather him be a specialist, a superstar in here than be like I'd rather him reach S somewhere than A here, basically, right? And that's a fucking really delicate balance. So what I'm trying to tell you is maybe that guy is the guy that's going to do the dirty work. And maybe they just needed somebody that is willing to do it because maybe they have somebody like Joseph, right? And they were always complaining about it. Be like, bro, just hold the setup, bro. Or like, dude, if you were here, if you were waiting, And this is, I think, what could happen. I don't know. This is pure speculation. But I can tell you that sometimes this shit happens. And then you just need a guy that's just like, bro, just do it, please. This is your job now. You're just going to do this. And maybe that's why they got that guy.
It's just so weird for me because what I'm seeing is they pick up Woode, and I'm assuming that they're scrimming with him, and then all of a sudden, this is what I think is happening. I think that they're like, wait a second, like we're still ass. So now let's pick up another player 2 days, literally a day of our match. And then they pick up this new player, slot him in, and they still just look like shit. And it's probably not even his fault, honestly. but it's probably not even his fault at all. But there's something
Yeah.
really wrong with this team that they need to work out, and I think that just comes with like even the coaching staff, maybe, bro. Like I think this might be something bigger than just the players in itself. I think it's like a strategic. I mean, it's definitely strategic.
And don't forget, their coach was yelling at them, had players crying. Everybody was like, "This is good coaching." You know,
bro. There's,
I don't know how it works.
At some
regions,
point,
bro.
it can't be the players, bro. At some point, it can't be the players. And that's the last that we'll say on that for now.
Hey, you want to know the worst thing about this too? They've already qualified for champs because they have so much points over everybody else.
Yeah, but they're in shambles. They're in shambles the most out of any team I've seen.
Right.
Not crazy.
And yes, but that's why I think it has to be something else, like other than like skill. And they needed either a personality or they needed somebody willing to like go through be the person and player they need. But they have a lot of time for champs in preparation.
Fair.
So this making the change is not terrible in that context. I don't necessarily think the vision is weird to me because they've already qualified for champs.
You know what? It's fair actually, and to give Simon some credit, I mean, although he is negative in almost every single agent, he does play a fuck ton of agents. So like low key, I mean, bro, you're right though. Like when you got shooters like they do, but I just think that maybe even like nobody, like if nobody's gonna continue like the performances that he's having, where he's like kind of in a slump, he's gonna have to step it up in the macro game. Big time, because like they're definitely lacking on the macro game, like no doubt in my mind. And that's where I'm talking about the coaching coming in, maybe helping him out or something, maybe just something new in that term. But they do have the time to make it work, you know. So who knows? Maybe it will be better for them. One thing is for certain, Kong is actually good at Neon, so that's dope. That's pretty sick. Yeah, he actually played really well.
Yeah,
on that agent.
Neon now broken,
Neon's sick.
Even though she was broken
sick.
last patch and no one played her. And 2 years ago, when no one played her, she's still.
I actually think that she was better with 2 stuns than she is now with the 2 slides.
100%.
I think the 2 stuns was so.
We
much
talked
better.
about this. I didn't want to say too much.
Oh, we did talk about this,
bro.
right?
Me and Governor know. Well, the thing is now, like Neon, they lowered the skill cap to Neon, so now a lot of people can do what Governor does mechanically in terms of movement and aiming while moving. They lowered the skill cap. But they made her worse. So it's like we never, now that you said this and now that it's been some time, we don't look at Neon as a buff like Riot does. All they did was buff like left to right movement, which sure you can really take advantage of and it might be really good. And I'm not, but yeah, the 2 turns was very important to stop, and not having the 2 turns is, So you're going to see less Neon from us than I had expected, because So
having that one stun,
it is a net nerf.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
It is a net nerf. And now we got people saying that Jogemo is the best Neon in the world, and I'm like, I would love for that to be the case, because I would love for that agent to still be meta, because I already know.
He's fucking good. Ja might be one of the best Neons I've seen. Mechanically,
yeah, for sure.
by far,
he's great.
Better than Governor, straight up. Mechanically,
in what area,
bro? On that specific agent, bro. That's
cap.
Maybe I'll just say it from an intuition.
That's cap.
It's not, bro. Jogamo's. You want to know how I know? Because I was better than Governor at Neon, and I watched fucking this man play Neon Jogamo, and I'm like, this guy's better than me, bro. Straight up. Like, this guy's movement is fucking unbelievable. So, okay, how about this? In terms of movement, he's the best Neon by far. In terms of movement.
That's cap.
Because there's so much that goes in. Nah, bro. Jogamo's the best movement player in the game, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, it's all opinion anyway. But,
no, for sure.
Still.
But I'm just saying, like, I don't want so I've actually had this conversation with Peter. The way I use Peter really is not helpful to him. It's helpful to us.
Yeah, he's not able to actually show off his mechanics.
That's what I'm gonna say.
I get that. But here's the thing. I remember playing against him when he was one-tricking Neon, like having fracture head-to-head duels against him. And yeah, he was good, but I would always I was that guy, right, on Neon. That was me.
Yeah.
I was the one that was after Victor. After Victor made it popular, I took that blueprint and just fucking owned it. Right. So like, I got to play against Gov. I get to watch. I got to play against Jogamo quite a bit, but then they switched to that like Sova comp on Fractured for a while.
Yeah.
But
Which
watching what this guy's doing,
fucking nice.
Dude, that Sova comp, I like that Sova comp.
No, his Sunset was great. I'm not like we're really splitting hairs because like Jogamo as a duelist, I think, is more impressive, right? Like sure, like if you compare them both, I think Jogamo has a lot of areas where I think I wouldn't argue if you said he was better. I think in terms of movement and what you can do with Neon, that's where I think we differ.
I guess it's tough now too because it's like you said, the ceiling on the character.
It's easier now.
It's been lowered, so it's like you don't really know now, right?
Right, and that's a conversation me and Governor
because
had.
Before, it was there was more thought to it. Like you know what I mean? Like now you had 2 stuns to take space, or you could feint with 1 stun and then already rotate the other way. We talked about this. Yeah, I guess it is so subjective that it's just tough, and also it's so recency biased as well. It's like I don't remember the last time I even saw Governor actually play a true Neon comp map where like he's the one being enabled by it. You know, like
I don't. And the truth is, it's gravity. So I'm so glad you said that. All right, if you look at Sunset, if you look at how EG played with Jogemo and for Jogemo, I'll admit it's similar to us more than it is the other way. But I will also admit they give Jogemo way more util, way more things. We've learned how much gravity Neon pulls, so we have like a mix, let's say, of like what we like to do. But Governor doesn't get babied, and I think that is both by design, but it's also because my lack of respect for APAC. I think that would certainly change if we go to champs. Like, I have to be more thoughtful about how difficult it is. Right now, it doesn't matter. Governor on most series is like 17 and 17, 20 and 20 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But in scrims, he's like dropping 30s. Pluses. Yeah. But the thing is, why? It's because it doesn't matter that Governor has 20 because I got Jit that has 25. I have Band that has 25. I have like, Cruz. So it's like, it's just kind of like, you just need to shift the defense enough, and Neon does that. But yeah, in fairness, it's like exactly what you said probably makes the most sense. It's, Governor at the very least is the Neon that does the most with the least.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've even talked on the show, at least 3 game plans, I basically told you, Gov was bait. He just opened up the game for Ben.
Literally.
Or he opened up the game for this guy, right? Like,
also,
and I said this even before this conversation happened.
Yeah. Also, APAC got some shooters too, bro. So like,
bro, it's all APAC has.
But yeah, people at APAC are probably hitting the Neon on the slide, bro. Like people at an A are not hitting that, bro. I'm sorry,
bro.
They're not hitting that shit. They're not hitting that
scrims. We're getting Neon. Governor just had the realization of like, is this what I've been doing to people this whole time? Because now that it's happening to him, he's like, bro, I'm talking tier 2 Japanese teams that are like in 6th place are just like destroying us, and we're like. So yes, APAC is a different monster, and funny, had a conversation about this yesterday with Aaron, with Boy. I told Boy, so I had this in a conversation about Jit, because Jit is our best player, right? And what makes him special, so he's also the best clutch player in VCT. I don't know if you know that, if you saw the stats.
No, I haven't. That's dope.
Yeah, he has like something like a 43% clutch rate.
Oh, you told me this. Yeah, you told me this.
Yeah. So, what will I say about him specifically that doesn't give too much away? What makes him special is also what drives me crazy and is what I have to coach the most, if that makes sense. Because APAC players 1v5 everything. That's why this kid is so good at clutching. Because he's used to doing everything himself.
Mm-hmm.
But this is why, like, as an example, when I put him on characters like Astra in the past, he struggled. Because playing a game 5v5 and using the other 4 to your advantage is not the same game as 1v5ing. And I think you can attest to this at the duelist spot. When you require all this util for a bomb site and you get it, that's great. But then what you're not factoring in most of the time when you do this is, what do you have in post? What are your player positions in post? What is the spacing with all this util? If you have 3 people throwing util, who's your 2-man? Do you have a 2-man? Are you just a clean 1? And then when other Sentinels start countering you, or other IGLs start creating trap plays, and you guess wrong, now you're in Vietnam. Right now it's like, what is this? This is bombs over Baghdad in here. What the fuck is going on? Get me out. But you may lose the round. Then you might try something else, and somewhere else they guess right. Now you lose another round. Before you know it, your whole side is cooked because you use all this util. Like, you didn't have enough flexibility on sort of like the tactics. You didn't catch on to them either being in bait setups or their 4-1 gamble stacking, right? You didn't catch on to that super quickly. And what I think ultimately the heart of all this is that at the end of it all, APAC players, their skill is increased by the level of difficulty every game and the fact that other people can shoot. But the moment you put macro in, and the moment you start talking tactically about what they can do within a network or a team or a framework, and you talk to them about timings and about what, getting the defense to shift, and when a rotation happens and when you can time the sequence of like, the rotation from like, if you think Haven, from like A short to B or to A link is somewhere like 6 or 7 seconds with your knife out. If you're the Sentinel, you just got to go, you just got to time it in your head. Just wait on your timing. By now, someone should have moved off, go up short. If you have a one-on-one, it'll be a true one-on-one. It won't be a bait setup. Listen for the turret, because if Killjoy is doing a moon raccoons where you have the turret and then you have somebody tucked, that could be a really dangerous trap. Don't fall for it. If you hit the turret on your slope, go long. Now that delays the timing. So now you have to talk about the timing with the other IGL. Like, hold on. I need like plus 10. He's not going to understand what the fuck is going on. He's not going to look at his minimap. He's just going to go, fuck. I got to wait 10 seconds. I got to burn util. I'm Sova. Great. I'm just going to dart. I need a smoke. Pop the smoke. Dart. Okay, wait. All right, in 20 seconds we're going to hit. We need a fake B. Then we need to do a C split. That's normally how these things have to work when you're like in that stuff. Bro, when I speak to Jit about stuff like this motherfucker's like, somebody got... Like, it takes so much time to get them to start thinking like the way Cruz has to think. And I think that's the thing that is the hardest about new IGLs, or particularly when you get up these new, young and up-and-coming, like, talent, right? Like what DRX did, which we'll talk about later, is when you have a good IGL, he needs to turn everyone else on the team into an IGL. Unless you're going to Demon 1 somebody and then basically micro and baby them and like do all that stuff. But like in reality, if your system is going to work, your IGL needs to IGL or be the IGL, and also teach everyone else how to be the IGL so that his game is freed so he can shoot. APAC has none of that. Not even the coaching here. If you look at the coaching hires that have happened this season, it's insane. They got people that don't even understand half of what I just said, and those are the guys responsible for the development of young talent. And then you got half the league trying to out PRX. And here's a problem. When you try to out PRX, what do you walk into? You walk into a scenario where you get a whole bunch of aimers that don't have their experience. So not only are you trying to match the aim, let's say you match the aim. How are you going to match the fact that these guys have been to 10 lands?
Yeah.
Your guys have been to none.
Global esports.
It's just, to me, it's just ridiculous when you think of like player development, scouting, or just like in essence, team building.
I agree.
When you compare NA, bro, look at G2. Bro, if you compare the sophistication of G2 to every single team in APAC, bro, G2 was in Ascension last year. Their macro is still better than every single team here in APAC.
To be fair, though, they've always been at that level, though. Like even on the card, right?
But what I'm saying is they were tier 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's our tier 2 team. Think about that. That's our Ascension team. You want to compare Ascension teams? Let's not do that because that's rude. But I'm just saying, like, let's compare tier 2 in other regions to the sophistication of G2.
No, facts.
And then compare G2 to the tier 1 teams. And I'm like, dude. And I think it's just a natural lesson of, like, APAC has shooters. The talent in APAC has always been there. Because the way they play the game is different. That's why NA players, when they come here to play ranked, they can't make top 1. Ask Curry. He quit. It's impossible because their aiming mechanics, in my opinion, are far superior to NA. The only other place I've been to where aim mechanics is very similar and comparable to APAC is Brazil. Brazil has the same problem. Except, I'll be honest with you, Brazil has a different problem. Ego. Those players don't want to learn the game. They think they're so good and they're better than the game that they could just beat you by just like Madeira Macia. Like, that's how they're going to beat you. They don't even want to know tactics. They don't care about tactics. They don't care about teamwork. They don't care about shit. APAC players want to. They're not disrespectful to the art of macro. They just don't know it. And they don't have people to teach it. So that's
and it's not something that you can learn overnight either. It's like it's a work in progress always. Like it took me a while to learn macro in general. Like it probably took
it's been 9 months with JIT every day basically.
Took me like a good year of listening to Poised. Yeah.
And he's still nowhere near Cruz's level in terms of like game IQ or sophistication of sets and understanding of map timings and just in general macro. He's nowhere close. My hope is by next season, if we cut JIT, he can IGL in tier 2. Obviously, I'm not going to cut JIT. But my point is, my hope is that by next year, he evolves and grows so much that he can just IGL. Right? Obviously, I'm not even replacing Cruz. I don't even want this to be the narrative now. But you understand where I'm going with this.
You want him to be at that level where he can understand the game.
He has to be. For us,
everybody has. You kind of need like almost all 5 is ideal, but like I guess you can get away with it if you get like a young gun who's insane. But But for the most part, this game is going. It's the same shit as CS, right? You need to have 5 smart players, bro, and then I guess here and there you could throw in. But even the young players nowadays, like Monacy and all them in CS, they're still really fucking smart. Even Donk, they're still really fucking smart, right?
But there's a difference. In my opinion, the difference between CS and this game, and it's always been, is that you get demos. It is so much easier to understand the game when I can look at your POV and go, what the fuck is this guy doing, bro? And then you start taking notes. Then you start comparing maps. How does he do against slow teams and fast teams? Right? Like, bro, could you imagine the level of development, that Dicey or Asuna would have went through if I could have just showed them straight VODs of like, okay, when we play against FaZe, look at this duelist. He has the best winning percentage against Baby Bay. Look at what he does to absorb the fast pressure. When we go up against NRG, Victor, where it's all like macro and slow tempo and like quick timing hits, look at the team that has a bit. If I could have just been like, look at this POV, let's study it together, their development would have been way much faster, right? Yeah. I mean, in fairness, they probably wouldn't have even cared. They probably wouldn't have even looked at it. But if they could have, they would be leagues beyond the player they even are now because the accelerated growth would happen at a pace. And that's, I think, the difference in CS player development and here is that it's like they're using like biomedical engineering. They're using like, incredible, technology. And here we're using gym teachers and like whiteboards and Valo plant. I'm serious.
For real,
I know that sounds like crazy, but like that's the difference. That's the level of difference. Is like they're injecting steroids into their athletes, and we're just learning about like going to the gym.
No, you're right. You're right because one of the main people that made me think this way was actually JDM when we got him as a coach, and a lot of people memed on him. But I'll tell you what, JDM was one of the most professional guys that I ever had coach me in any game. Seriously, this guy came in. And he already knew the way the game was going. He was like, you guys need to work on your retakes and post plants the most out of anything. And now look at this fucking game now. It's all retakes and post plants.
Right.
This was one of the main things where now I'm like, wow, this guy was a fucking genius in terms of that. And then also he, with his VOD review stuff that you're talking about, he always made me record my own POV, and he would go
Yep.
over it with me specifically because he was an opper, and he taught me a lot of ways to op. And he also told me, he's like, listen, kind of like what you said about the CS demos, when you're playing against a certain type of opper, like let's say you're playing against like a Tyson or something, watch VODs of who succeeded against him. Also, just watch VODs of where he likes to take his shots from, and etc. Just this little extra aspect of the game, and that could be applied to anything. It could be applied to look at how this guy likes to IGL. But like going into the head-to-head is what he made me focus on the most. Like how are you gonna match up against Cryo Cells? You know, how are you gonna beat him? Who beats him? You know, like who has beaten him before? What is a match that he's gotten beaten on before? How did he get beat? You know what I mean? Just shit like this, like in general. For like any upcoming match that I had, he had me working on it. I was more active on doing it, and it made me a really good player, honestly, at that time. That's why we had a lot of success.
I think both as a player, and then obviously compound that with like all the conversation I've had with Blade. That's probably the area that me and Cruz talk about the most, and that's also the area I yell at him the most. Being able to anticipate what's coming based on past historical data and live data, and being able to like read the map in real time. And make
there's always going to be tendencies. There's always going to be tendencies in real time, like for sure. And then even if you come up with a new game plan, what is going to happen when that new game plan doesn't work? Let's say we shut down that
counters
new
to
game
counters.
What are they going to do? They're going to go back to the old shit. So you got to be watching. You got to be watching it anyway.
Me and Cruz had a round yesterday where we talk about like something that happened and what a Sova drone meant, and like we literally had like a 5-minute discussion about this Sova drone, and like it seemed so stupid to most people. We were actually arguing.
Yeah.
But the reason we're arguing about the Sova drone is because we need to be able to know if a team does this, it means one of two things. Let's say it is clearing space for an opper, right? Maybe sometimes someone else, or it's a dummy, or it's just info gathering. Like if you're playing Ascent and
I was literally going to say you're talking about Ascent right now, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, like if you're droning out a market at 110 and you don't have anybody mid, but you have people at the corners, what are the checkdowns? What are the things that you need to think about? You know? And like our argument was, what does it mean? How does it mean? Or what does it mean? How does it change the game? Not how does it mean? And then we had like differences of opinion. Ultimately, you know, this is the gravity and the friction that needs to happen in order for you guys to grow. But we ultimately know now what we're going to do to try to check that and how to protect from all the danger variables that can happen, so that if we guess wrong, we're at least able to like fight through a problem and not just be blinded by it. And then if we need to go into a side hit, we still have enough util, right? So that's why it's very specific to know, like, you know, but like this is like, I would argue most of the game. Most of the game is anticipatory, and then basically like what is your body memory? Like what's your muscle memory to specific scenarios right now? It's not, you know, have the best B executes, A executes, the best defensive traps or any of that stuff. It's really just that. It's like fast twitch shit that I think also makes the game more fun to watch. But I think the stress levels are because of this. Because the game is a lot more sophisticated now.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
You know, it's fast.
You gotta be fast. Yeah,
everyone is fast now.
And you gotta react fast too. And that's not just with your aim. That's like you said. It's with knowing what the protocol is per situation that's happening in real time. And it's good to have it. It's good to like talk about it and know what all the protocols should be. That way, the moment that you recognize it, right, the pattern or whatever the fuck it may be, the read that you have, you're able to apply it right away, because this game is truly a game of honestly even milliseconds. Like if you can beat the rotations into a site and hit the 2-man, let's say, before that KO comes over from fucking catwalk to CT to throw those flashes over.
If you beat the flash, you kill them and then get a flash, you're chilling.
Brother, that make or break it. Like that's we're talking about milliseconds right there sometimes when you're doing those entries. Like, so yeah, it's extremely important, not only for the attackers, but the defensive side too. That's why this game, it's so good right now to like be proactive on the defensive side and re-clear space that was just taken, so you can paint that general picture way better on the defensive side. Because if you're starved for info on defense, bro, like, man, you're fucked. And I had a conversation with the TSM guys today because I've been trying to help them out a little bit with their tier 2 stuff. But they played a match recently against Shopify where they were getting just completely obliterated in the info game. And I'm like, I just told him, I was like, listen, straight up, bro. Even like let's say you have no info and you have like 2 players anchoring a site. They might get caught in transition. They might just get caught sleeping, looking at minimap. Who the fuck knows? But if you re-clear the other side of the map on any map, let's say, you already know there's going to be 2 reactions, right? They're either going to speed up because they see that you re-cleared it. Let's say you use util to re-clear it. They're going to know that. They're going to see it on the minimap, right? If you use a Sova Dart or something to like re-clear A main, or a knife to re-clear A main on Ascent, right? They're going to see it. They're probably going to speed up either like mid or just go B main, right? Like, or they're going to re-clear what you just re-cleared.
The area,
right?
yeah. But you'll know.
And now let's say you re-clear A, you know, now those 2 players on site at B, now they can be more dialed in, and now maybe they have the advantage, even though they're getting full 5-man exec on. They're going to be dialed in on how they should play. They know how many characters they're probably going to go up against. It might be all 5. They'll be able to position how they want to. They'll be more dialed in on their crosshair. Even just having the infocom enough to allow those anchors to just have that extra couple seconds to like really lock the fuck in, it matters, bro. It matters completely. Small things like that.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, for sure. Facts.
But yeah, in other news, we'll move on from our little rant that we just went on. We gotta get this shit moving because we got some matches we gotta go over. The MIBR rebuild, and keep in mind, I think these are stand-ins because some of the players are having visa issues. But Shazam stood in and Paint stood in. I get Shazam. I think it makes sense, actually. I understand why you would want somebody like Shazam in there. He has experience, plays the role. Paint, I don't understand. I don't understand. No offense to Paint. Again, I don't know enough about him. Why is he getting a shot in VCT before a lot of other players should? It's beyond me. You could have gotten anybody to sub in from tier 2. It was only a match. I don't know if they're playing more than just a match. But for example, there's players in LA like 7 who I think are way more worthy of having a shot to sub in VCT on that stage than a player like Paint, who has last tournament he played was Funhavers. I don't get it. I mean, you're talking about a player that was relegated.
I get
from
it.
tier 2.
I know.
I just don't understand. But I get maybe there were
MIBR. I get it already.
So
unlucky,
dumb, bro.
Unlucky.
So
it's MIBR. That's the only thing I'll say. Yeah, I get it. MIBR. Good luck to him.
Yeah, good luck to him. Good luck to him for sure.
Good luck to him.
Next thing I want to talk about is the DRX Stax and Mako post. And I think we've already fucking beaten down this already in general about what we think about
we knew
DRX.
before knowing. Huh.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
Go figure.
Almost like I've been doing this a while, I guess.
Yeah.
Unlucky,
That's not
bro.
the only thing we knew before knowing.
Oh boy. Yeah, man.
Wow, I think
bro, there was so much shit that I got back from people over there talking like I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, okay, man. Cool, bro. I'm not even gonna get into that. It's just funny, man.
Well, we gotta talk about it.
I must have a history of saying things that are either not true or that I believe. Like, I don't know. Like, you would think I have a history of just being like just a liar or something, which I'm just so fascinated by people getting mad, even in Asia Pacific, which, you know, the Korean mafia know what I'm talking about. They get mad at you for calling them out on things that are true. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, bro, you can't get mad at me for this, but they do get mad at you for this. So it is what it is.
Hey, but yo, props where props are due. I mean, HLTV reported exactly what you reported. What, a month ago now? It's been a month,
Unlucky,
right? Or
bro.
how long has it been?
Unlucky, bro. Yeah, it's been a month.
But yo, you were right. Maybe,
man.
maybe you were right. If you're definitely right that he's probably looking But I mean, obviously, you know, if there's nothing that he can find, then
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I was clearly wrong. I have to say, and I kind of hinted at this, but the level of maturity that it took for all those parties to go through what they went through and have things happen the way that they happened, and then to still come together and work together is actually very impressive.
It is.
It's extremely mature, first off. So that I was certainly surprised by, because I figured it would be, oh, you want me back? Ha! Given how I was treated.
Uh-huh.
And that was not the case. And I have to say, I'm actually impressed by the, you know, both the human element there working, and I think just the fact that people can put aside, I think, you know, whatever hurt and, you know, frustration might have been felt, and still go, like, you know, we're homies, or get nostalgic about the past and things you've gone through and, you know, all that stuff, and still be like, you know, you fucked up, but it is what it is, bro. You know, let's move on. I think that's actually, like, incredibly impressive, because, you know, it just hasn't been my experience that I see that much in esports.
Yeah,
or,
usually people don't get
that
over shit
behavior much in esports. So I was certainly thrown for a loop there, like, wow, that is actually fucking dope that's the case. But that doesn't change the fact that, you know, that
you were right.
It's true that one guy wants to, yeah. So, you know, unlucky. Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Hey, you were right though. And now we're moving on.
My bad. Yeah.
Now we're moving on to NA. We'll go on to the NA matches. There weren't many because NA starts later than everybody. So
yeah, bro. 13. Yeah. 8.11 off rip, bro.
Oh shit.
Let's talk about that.
I'm getting
Never
red.
mind. Let's
Sorry,
not talk
everybody.
about that.
I'm a little sick, but yeah. So MIBR, Leviatan. MIBR, Leviatan. Paint got outclassed completely. What do you expect? I mean, it wasn't just him though. Obviously, it was the whole team lost, and it was kind of a blowout for the most part. Ascent was decent from the side of MIBR. They had a great attack half, but their defense, they couldn't close it out at all. And
yeah, I mean, I guess for Mazin, but
yeah,
fuck it. It is what it is. What are you gonna do?
And Mazin, he's so solid too, bro. Even his stats in that game, he was probably IGLing.
He is IGLing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have the best relationship with the Furia players. I probably will never like coach them again. But I'm telling you, that roster was special. People just didn't understand it and don't realize it. And I know FNS has a lot to say about that roster, but boy, let me tell you something. We were going up against FNATIC, and
dude,
double over like. Come on, man.
It was right there.
You don't do you don't get there in kickoff, and you don't do the thing. Bro, we started out 4-2. And then, you know, shit happened between me and Furia, and it is what it is, and then they didn't win again. But like, dude, that roster could have been special. And Mazin, bro, Mazin's a world champ. But like, this is the thing that people like. Everyone talks about like players and IGLs and all this stuff. That dude's a world champion, bro, in Crossfire.
And by the way, in front of like more people than what we had in Shanghai, because his Crossfire, for those that don't know, in China is absolutely massive. If you're a professional Chinese player in Crossfire, you're a multi-millionaire, bro. That's just how it is, man.
Dude, it's a $1 billion game, bro.
It's crazy.
They just you're talking about like esports enough.
Bro, when I was playing like fucking 10 years ago, crowd of 15,000, 20,000 people. Like that was what I started gaming with, bro. Is a crowd like that.
Bro.
And this guy won a championship there in front of 15, 20,000. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot of fucking people. Anyways.
Not enough respect. Not enough. It's the same thing in some respect. It's not in a direct parallel. So I can understand if people think it's a reach. But it's a Benji Fishy thing too. How much disrespect does he get coming into this game? He's going to be trash. He's probably the best Sentinel right now.
Yo, low key, I wasn't a believer either, bro. At first, he joined. He was playing Reyna, all this shit. He came from tier 2.
He's playing Raze. I remember watching his streams going, yo, he could be good. He's playing Raze, on Fracture, doing weird shit. Like, I know.
Time went by. I started seeing more and more clips, and I'm like, wait a second. Then this guy joins Heretics, and I'm like, even when he joined, I was like, Bro, is it just because he's clouded? And then I see him doing the shit he's doing now, and I'm like, nah.
Bro,
This
but
kid
players
is
like
the real
I'm telling
fucking
you, but
deal,
players
bro.
like Mazin, QCK,
It's
Khalil,
right there, huh?
people don't understand. Bro, Fury wanted to replace Khalil. Khalil slapped 100 Thieves, bro. I'm going to tell everybody this. Just watch 100 Thieves versus Furia. Go to Icebox and just watch Furia's defense and look at Khalil. Khalil used no util as Viper and killed everybody.
Yeah, but so this is the problem with Khalil, is that he's really good when he's stationary, but he's not good at peeking into players. That's what I've realized with him. If he can get better at peeking people and killing them like that, rather than just sitting and holding an angle. Because by the way,
Well, how about
in a game like Valorant, I swear to God, holding angles is one of the hardest fucking things you can do.
Exactly.
I swear, I don't know if it's the movement, what the fuck it is about this game. Maybe it's the inaccuracy on the guns, unless you're using a Phantom. But I swear, sometimes holding an angle, like an off angle or anything, it could be the hardest fucking thing ever.
No, you're right. Peeker's advantage is the worst. It's actually even on stage with zero ping, it's still quite difficult. It's better.
Really?
Like, it's certainly manageable. But yeah, it's just the game is fast and there's so many other things to think about, where in CS, because of the limited options of variables, you don't have to think about Sova darts and, positioning and this and that, blah, blah, blah. So yes, I don't disagree that he's not a perfect player, and he's probably not one of the best players in the world. But also, I will tell you that all of those guys were, when I had them, under 19 years, or at like under 19, not Mazin, but like the other ones. They were like basically sub 20. Khalil and QCK have been paired since 17 years old in the pros. Players like that do not get the credit I think they deserve, and people in our scene, the good players, don't watch enough film of these players to understand why they're special. They look at results and go, Fury is 0-5, Khalil's trash. And I'm like, oh, trash? You talk about one of the best aiming teams in North America getting put down by a guy using no util. Now, you can make an argument, Hector, why the fuck is he not using util on Viper? Or why does he seem sort of like confused as to where things are going? That's a coaching, that's a macro thing. That's an entirely different aspect of the game. But when you want to talk about special, I can tell you this right now, and I mean this with as much love and graciousness as I can sum up. I don't have a player on my team that can do what he did in that game.
I mean, bro,
we'd have to win another way.
He had a 62% headshot on Icebox, bro.
Brother, watch.
Bro.
I'm telling you, just go back with a different perspective and just focus on what he did on defense. He killed almost an entire team without util. Without util. It was really just positioning and one maybe orb that was used. But that's not real util. I mean, sorry, it is real util. But what I'm saying is, every good team knows how to play around Viper Orb, especially now that it's that nerfed. So it's not like 100 Thieves so unprepared of what to do against Viper that an orb is going to go,
it was.
Woo, this orb placement is.
It was a very standard comp. I mean, I guess the only thing is like maybe they haven't played against a Sage in a while, but still, it's not like the Sage got that much fucking value.
Just watch that defense and then look at Khalil, and then you'll begin to understand that maybe there are things that we don't appreciate about these players. QCK, again, is another one, got replaced from Loud and isn't in the league, but I certainly believe he should be.
Yeah. I believe he should be too.
So Mazin, I feel bad for Mazin because he doesn't want a losing season under his record as an IGL. He doesn't. Yeah. And I feel bad for him because I don't even think he had a chance, especially with the roster that I think they put together. I don't think that roster was going to be good enough.
Should have picked me up.
And I have familiarity with Brazilian players because of obviously my tenure at Furia and understanding sort of, what I learned about players and how people work. And it's just like, I feel bad for these guys because they're just, unlucky.
Speaking of unlucky, I feel like NRG got hella unlucky having to go against Sentinels first round.
I mean,
that's fucking hella unlucky. The first map of Lotus, I think it was just Sentinels' game to win no matter what.
Yeah.
I think there's still a lot to work out with the Clove comp. I think the solo Clove can work on Lotus. I know it's been getting more and more popular with teams.
It's a lot harder.
I kind of still like the Viper
solo
comp.
Clove.
I kind of still like the Viper comp.
But Clove is good on Lotus. I will definitely attest to that.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe not solo.
She's very good.
Solo, but I think
solo, I think, was a little much because it basically makes you one-dimensional. You have to. Okay, it's the same sort of thing as Breach logically. She's gonna be B, or she can't help post, right? Or your hit is basically one-dimensional, where she has to like be with the team, or you're relying on the walls and cages and flashes basically for entry, and then Clove is basically doing the bottom smoke on A, like on your attack, to like lurk. So it's like there's only a few ways to play. Sure, you can use Cypher Cage and all that stuff, but then who's watching B? It just gets really complicated. It gets really muddy, and there's just so many things that I learned from just trying to, figure out Clove. I will say this: both those teams, I was surprised that there's not enough 8.11. And I know some
like no
things
ISO
about
and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think both those teams. I was very shocked by the comps they selected, because I don't think it's playing to the strengths of 8.11 or 9.0. But I will say, though, that especially the second match, Sentinels were destroying NRG, and you can see clearly that once FNS, once it was download complete, it was an entirely different game, right? It just took them a little longer than I think he would have liked, and that's just the unfortunate part.
Exactly. I think it was their map to win had they gotten just like another round on defense, or
it's us
had they just
PRX,
won a
bro.
pistol.
Sometimes
had they just won a pistol, bro. If they won a pistol, they would have won the map.
Starts just grief you, bro. You're down 6-7 rounds. I talk to Cruz about this all the time. We have to get better at stopping bleeding, and for him, he knows how to stop the bleeding. It's just like, it's his first game of the league, and he's playing against Sentinels, who I believe is still the best team in NA. And it's like, insane. Fuck, dude.
Yeah, they're insane.
Yeah, it was very unlucky. I expect the team to get better, and I don't expect.
It's a good meta for this NRG roster. The problem I have,
actually, I disagree with you. I don't think it's a good meta. I think this meta is the exact opposite for them.
I don't think it's that bad, because they're nerfing ISO again, right?
Yeah.
They nerfed ISO.
Yeah, but he's still.
I think in terms of the but in terms of the neon shit, like, I think that's a plus side for them, because I don't see. It's like, I want to be careful with what I say, because I know Victor has it in him. I know he can be good at Raze and shit like that. But if it ever comes down to a jet map, I mean, unless they plan on subbing Demon 1 in. By the way, I don't know if we talked about this. I think we may have. But if they like decided to actually play ISO, I don't know if Demon 1's off the table.
That's exactly what I've been at. Yeah,
bro,
100%. This meta was perfect for Demon 1, not what they have.
God.
I know, bro. I know. But the thing is, you got to remember, though, everyone else can play against
roster, right?
Everyone else can play against NRG using 8.11 and 9.0. For instance, ISO is still good. To me, he's still A tier. Don't even let. I mean, I don't mind saying it now. People saw us use ISO.
What?
Now they know.
What did they change?
It's in our
change exactly.
They basically made his shield, so it's not broken now. So before, you would pop the shield, and it would last 20 seconds. And if it wasted, you had another shield for another 20 seconds. Yes. And then after every kill, you could refresh
who the fuck decided to let that go through? Wait, so you can have a shield for 40 seconds in the round?
Yes. 40 seconds.
I didn't know. I wasn't playing, man. I wasn't playing.
No. Did you not hear me last week when we went over the patch and the characters, and I basically called him Blackbeard? He's Blackbeard.
Yeah.
From Rainbow Six.
I never played Rainbow Six. I never played Rainbow Six, but you said he was broken as fuck. I thought the shield was just 20 seconds.
He had a
I know that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, to me, that's what ISO had.
He still does, though, right? He still has it.
Yes,
right?
he still does, but it's 12 seconds instead of 20.
Okay.
And on top of this, if you got 2 kills in the round, it refreshed. So let's say somebody wasted. Let's say a team ran away from you and they were sitting in their spawn, and now
you got 2 kills in the post plan.
Sorry, 30 seconds left on the. Yep. And then you can pop it again and swing in the last 10 seconds of the round.
I don't mind that, though. I don't mind the reset,
but that was very oppressive,
right?
And they got rid of it. Now what it is 12 seconds, and once you use it, it's gone, right? But if you get a kill, you can still refresh it and all that stuff. Like, you can still pop the little shield, and then, You
got to be smarter about how you use it now.
You got to be way smart about how you use it. But that to me, that is only, like, the shield is only representative of something, like, let's say like 50% of what makes ISO good.
Okay.
Ban put some of it on display. I know I'm pretty pissed off about our defense, but like there's so much more to ISO that is kind of incredible that I'll just say still I have him still pretty regarded now. He's just alongside the best duelist now. You can make an argument for running him or not, and that's okay. I think he's more balanced than he was. I certainly now see strengths of other characters on certain maps over, whereas before I saw no strength. There was no character in the game as good as him. I had him at S+ tier, right? So I do not see him as that dominant now, and I think that's okay.
Yeah, he's more balanced.
So,
speaking of insane,
he is certainly a Demon 1 character, and it goes back to what I was saying but FNS and NRG are going to have to play against 8.11, and that's what I don't think they're ready for. Because America isn't even, I mean, maybe a couple teams, but like EG, for instance, which surprisingly did use Jogemo, or not surprisingly, but like we suspected.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
So what I'm saying is NRG has to also play against 8.11 and 9.0, and they're using similar comps to the ones in the past. And this is what I think was the one thing that I saw out of Sentinels and them that I was kind of like, huh? I don't know if they have it in other map pools, though, but I would be very interested to see if they keep up the old meta comps in 9.0. It was great for me to see Clove, though. I thought that was outstanding. I think they're going to realize that they need one more.
Yeah. And then, the Deadlock for Sentinels looked really good, too. Honestly, even though
Deadlock,
like John QT individually didn't go crazy. But, yeah, you talked about Deadlock last week, so that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, Jogamo played ISO against Loud. Yeah, he didn't win on Lotus, but motherfucker was going off. Absolutely off. Superman went off as well, but in general, I mean, EG looked really good in this series overall. I mean, Jogamo on the Neon, we already spoke about this. He got set up really well. And then to end it on Icebox again, Jogamo back on the ISO, and then Superman on the Clove. Dude, you know what's crazy? They ran your comp. They ran your fucking comp. They ran your fucking comp, and we talked about it a little bit. You were like, they ran the defense better, and yeah, that's true. But
I think
still,
I think our attack obviously was much better than theirs, and I think even they would agree to that. And most certainly, their defense was so much better than ours. So there's things that we can learn from each other. But I think in general, I think EG deserves the credit. There's no way they copied. So
because they would have known.
There's no way they copied. What they did is they saw value in agents.
They did what you guys did.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I will give all the credit to EG for this, though. So, props. And they had it on Jogemo. Props. I think they deserve all the credit for
great, bro.
The staple of the comp and all that stuff.
He made ISO look like S+ tier. Like you said.
Yeah.
He made it look S+ tier.
Yeah, I mean, Ban got the first ace. Ban, on defense, fuck my whole team. That's all I'll say. They know. We've already went through the VOD review. But certainly, we should have 13-3 them, 13-4 them. It was ridiculous. I don't even want to get into it. But, I think Ban also just went off. I think Jogemo playing Neon, ISO is exactly where I thought the meta would be. So, we
talked about that too, didn't we? We literally talked about that.
Of course,
bro. We talked about that, and we were like, bro, we cannot wait to see Jogemo play on this new patch. And look at him. He fucking owned. I'm so happy.
I'm sad that Aspas was not that guy. I
wonder if it's because he didn't have time.
I'm not being critical of anyone for not playing that way. It's fine. But I think Aspas on Jet still is kind of ridiculous to me. I mean, yeah. Maybe this is why he wouldn't want me as a coach, or why me and him would never stick. So but there is a 0% chance I have him on Jet this season. I just would have said that 0%.
So he definitely does play Neon. I just think in that specific map pool, it's a Sentinel Icebox.
I would have had him on ISO, bro. ISO, baby.
On both maps though, I don't know.
Hell yeah, bro. Bro, you don't understand.
No,
S+ tier. That is the most dominant character in the history of Valorant. I don't even want people to talk to me about Chamber. What made Chamber great was positionally he could cover so much surface area of the map. He had 2 trips. His TP was so far.
And be deadly about it as well. And be deadly about it. Yeah.
Brother, brother.
Yeah, but you
ISO
cannot
just
play
goes,
Ascent.
Fight me.
Yeah.
You're dead. You're dead.
But you cannot play that map.
Bro, what's up? You can't play what map?
But you cannot play Ascent without a gap closer on the attacking side. I refuse to believe it, bro. It's too hard. It's too hard.
I mean, sure. Just get someone else to play Raze or Jet.
So you wanted it so like
most effective duelist.
I see what you're saying.
On ISO and just kill everything over and over and over and over and have
just
3
drop
shields
KO, run ISO, and then add on another duelist.
GG, well played.
Yeah, I see.
Like you got to think about it when you have people like when you have game breakers or like these X factors, and you put them on a character like that. Mm-hmm. Think about this for a second. Imagine we could warp you back in time, right? Mm-hmm. And you're at your height of phase.
Oh yeah, we put me on chamber or ISO. I'm fucking going.
And we give you a shield. And we give you a shield to take duels. Easy. You drop 30 every game.
Easy.
That's my point. It's like, to me, it's not that the comps are bad. It has nothing to do with that. It's just I'm putting one of the best aimers and duelists in the world in a position where you just all you have to do from a macro perspective is create a good environment for fights. That's it. If you can figure out where you're going to find your gaps in your fights and just go, you there now. That's all you got to do. Let that motherfucker cook, especially Ascent, right? Because you brought up Ascent. You know, right now, mid control, they don't util dump mid 1. They don't util dump mid 2. Maybe there's a flash. But imagine, in theory, an ISO with a shield walking up mid behind a Sovedrone. That area is not yours on defense if you're a defender.
Better spam him with that Odin through the wall, bro.
You better hope it hits. This is what I'm saying. Like, now I say this knowing that I just can't put ISO on every map now, so I'm not giving up, stuff from my team.
Yeah. But you're saying with
general,
the OP patch,
if I had Ospas, I'm doing that shit every map. I don't give a fuck. Bad Jaw Gemo doing that shit every map. I don't give a fuck. I don't. Now,
I mean, that's pretty much what happened with EG. I mean, Potter recognized.
Right.
I gotta shout out Potter because I feel like she really does know what the fuck she's doing when it comes to like finding new shit and etc. I mean, and playing to win cons too. Like she knows how to play to win conditions. Like she knows that Geronimo's that.
I mean,
dude.
I have I have no area to speak to say otherwise. I don't know who came up with I have no idea.
I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna be like, yo, why did you guys run
probably
this
was. I mean, you're probably right. It was Potter. That I just think that is certainly the. Yeah,
I still want to know.
Agree.
I still got to know how they came up with it. Why not? Because what if it was the same? It probably was the same reasoning behind you guys. They're like, yo, man, fuck it, bro. Put FOD on Clove, man. Let him just shoot people. Yeah. Run it down.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think Clove is generally very good. I think I can't say too much. I'll just say that I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
With the strengths and weaknesses of Clove,
put him on Clove. Let him run it down.
Particular way I'm gonna run it, and that's just it. Yeah.
Word. G2 played again. They played against C9. It was a pretty good macro win. Ascent got really close. I think for some reason this G2 team overthinks their attacking sides on Ascent. Specifically, I think they also just start off slow in first maps in general, but their defensive side on Ascent has just been so good. It's been bailing them out a lot of these matches. 4 rounds though is pretty good on Ascent. 4 rounds on attack is pretty good, but still their defensive side bails them out. I feel like it's like not bad. I feel like it's a hard map to attack on, bro. I feel like it's not like the worst. Yeah, 4 rounds is not the worst. Like 4 rounds is like, okay, we can do this. You know what I mean? Unless we lose pistol.
No. Certainly,
if we lose pistol,
if you win
it's
pistol.
Tough.
Yeah. If you win pistol, it's certainly
you have to win pistol though. You have to win.
Yeah.
5 rounds is like 5 rounds is like, okay, like we really have a shot. Like even if we lose pistol, like we can still bring it back. But I feel like 4 rounds, if you lose pistol, anything less like 4 and less, you lose pistol, you're losing the map most of the time. Unless you're G2 on defensive side.
Yeah, Icebox, I think the neon on Ascent was interesting, but
I just think I think that IC wasn't comfortable on it, and I think that he'll look better the second time around on attack because he was fumbling his utility
on Ascent.
He was
because I did it on Nearest Airport many years ago with Governor anyway, so I'll just say that
I mean, I'll tell you what, a team that's probably
Yeah.
going to be running Neon on Ascent because they've done it before in officials is probably going to be NRG. And honestly, when
That's
they ran
great.
it before,
I can't wait.
they did
Because
a
I
really
think
good
she's
job.
ass
Like
on Ascent.
it.
So I can't wait to see.
I will say the
I
way
must
that
learn.
the way that they run it. You should go watch a previous VOD of them running it. I know
Yeah,
this was
but
like a couple years ago,
2 stuns.
but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad when they run
stuns.
it. But you can only run it like once. It's one of those things where you run it like once,
It's a pocket.
and then you get
If
counted.
you're gonna do it, it's a pocket.
Exactly.
Because not having 2 stuns on that map
Yeah.
kills it.
Yeah.
Like I think Neon got nerfed
yeah.
at the professional level for sure.
No. I'm telling you, like watching
I don't
watching
think she's
some
S tier
scrims.
or even.
Yeah.
I'd put her barely A tier. It's just there's a style of Neon you have to play to put her in A tier.
Watching
And
some of these scrims,
but yeah.
seeing like where I used to, like let's say like I would do like a rollout on like the attacking side. I would maybe use a stun to take initial space, then use the second stun for the hit. Now you have to like kind of gamble. Like, okay, should I use my stun for the getting the up close space, or should I save it for taking the extra? You know, it's like
or you're
that's
using
where,
way more util to take areas now, which means
to
your
compensate
post
for it, right? Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot more difficult. Because like A main, B main, you need
That's kind of why I like your approach of how you're wanting to run it, because I think that you're right. I think people put in so much stock because they think Neon's so insanely buff right now. Neon's fucking crazy. Like, let's just try to shut her down. I like the way that you talk about wanting to.
If you have
run
a good Neon player, you have to respect her. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Think of the stress it puts on your defense. You have to. And all you got to do is shift one defender over. Let help side shift one more lane. Now, a lot of possibilities on attack.
Mm-hmm. Well, now we can move on to APAC. It's another region that didn't have that many games as of yet. There's going to be tons of games happening soon. Obviously, you're going to be a part of the Superweek. But we'll just start off with your game against RRQ. You won 2-1. Nice fucking dub. Probably should have been a 2-0.
Should have been a 2-0. I mean, I think RRQ, actually, it could have been a 2-0 the other way too, because we threw so many rounds. But like, I mean, I'm talking 4v2s, I'm talking 5v3s.
You are right.
I'm
that
talking
Lotus
shit that we're not supposed to do is just crazy. So let's start there. So let's set the stage for basically everything we'll talk about. Yeah. So let's play the round, and then we'll come back and talk.
Which
Can
side?
Neon A.
Who's A? Who's A?
Neon
Neon
got
got
Neon
good.
got.
What gun did he have?
Get
He
it, Vandal.
has
Can see push.
Guys, chill. We're walking up B.
Wait, let me have Chief.
Rejoin C.
I'm gonna join C. I'm gonna join C.
Has trip?
Yeah, Chief left side.
I broke trip.
He's C then. Chamber's gonna be C.
I broke trip.
They're gonna let
Yeah.
okay.
Shooting
Nice,
the
nice,
cam
nice.
here, I feel like.
I think we just hit
It's
C,
close right,
guys, honestly.
TP.
Carabate.
Yeah, behind the walk. He wait for teammate.
I think we just hit C.
We can't hit C.
Fuck
We got an
guys.
op in play, bro. Get ready to hit C.
I'm 1 HP, guys.
Kick off at B. Lee can be
I'm stun.
stun.
We clear B.
I can stand B.
Open shock.
Someone
Let's
down.
open door.
Stand here.
You want to open
I
door?
have
Yeah,
it.
I open door for you to kill. Kill him.
I stand.
They fall.
Okay, let me walk up B now.
You have time.
Hold.
If you can go open door A, that would be
Quarter,
so
yeah.
sick.
I'll try.
They're 1-3-1. They always 1-3-1, guys.
I'm opening door, okay? Give me a sec.
I think they're high-low holding B, dude. I think they're
Sure?
yeah.
Quiet
I'm
A.
pretty sure. That's the
I'm
only
walking
setup
link
that makes
door. I'm
sense.
opening door.
Let's go.
Wait, I'm gonna slide across. Okay?
I got flash. That be that. Flash.
Chamber holding.
You TP.
Back side.
Should be
Barely
offside.
take. I think they're gonna
They're,
flood.
they're gonna flood.
I tap.
No,
I
we
You
go.
guys
don't
come
have
back
time.
B.
Okay, go back B. Go
Come
back
back
B.
B.
Go back
Trust,
B.
trust,
Run,
trust.
run.
This is good. 1 CT.
พี่วางให้หน่อยได้ปะผมมีตังค์
Carry link.
ให้เพื่อน
A link up.
Neon spawn.
Come back.
Jit
Select.
doesn't need
Come
to
back,
do
come
that.
back.
Chill, I have it.
Hold the body
Come
before
back,
you
come
die.
back.
Could be waterfall.
Please.
Reclaim me? 2, 3.
3 ceiling.
Just live, Joseph. Just live.
Nice.
All waterfall.
I
I'm
know you too.
posted.
I know you too. 3.
Waterfall.
Just delay.
Don't peek.
Chill,
don't
I'm
peek,
flanking.
don't peek.
Chill.
Two.
Don't peek. Stop peek. Guys, listen. This. Don't peek.
Play time. Oh, fuck, my bad.
It's okay. Guys, those are the rounds what I'm talking about. That's the round. Discipline.
Okay. So now that you saw that, what are the things you see? Let's start with you.
How are you trolling a 4v2, brother? How are you? Okay, but hold on. All right, hold on. All right, so before I get into the memes, the round was set up great. I'm surprised that they didn't bite initially anyway with that rotate of the door, but still the rotations in the mid round and not actually committing to see there, that was fucking nice. And like faking it with the Astro Wall, getting the entry. Like JitBoyS played such a phenomenal round. At the end there, yeah, he dies for free, but he did it all. He did it all by
himself.
himself.
He knew everything.
He did it all.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I will say
Boys.
from the side of who was it? I think it was it Surf
Cruz.
or no, it was Cruz.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're gonna take that aggro space there, and like I know we talked about this already, but just if he wants to watch this, if you're gonna go for a timing like that, which to be fair, he did have the timing because he basically knifed out because JitBoyS made the call. If you're gonna do that, you don't hold a pixel angle like that. You go all the way wide. So, because first of all, like, and you know this from CS, the first angle every player is gonna clear is the obvious one right there where you're holding.
Right.
So I guess it was good of him to try to take the pixel shot and get out. But if you're gonna go for something like that, you might as well just fucking fully commit, in my opinion. But
yeah.
Since you didn't, whatever. If you're gonna hold that off angle too with the stun out of Surf, that's fine. Surf fucking trolled that round so hard, bro. Surf trolled that round so fucking hard.
So, okay, let's start with this. Everyone is calling RRQ a super team.
Yeah.
We certainly heard it. Everyone said RRQ was going to beat us, blah, 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 blah. So we went into this with that in mind, right? We picked Lotus specifically because we targeted a weakness. And, you know, like we were pissed. We were going in there banging. That's why Ban was on Jet. Because Ban was just like, nah, fuck that. I got this, you know, blah, 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 blah. Because, you know, we tried Surf on Jet against PRX. So we went, Ban's like, put this on me. Ban now playing 13 agents this season. No one talks about him being the most flexible player in the world, but it's okay. I think this is a massive problem with ego in our game that almost cost us our season. Because we went in there with the intent to bully them.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell, and I was frustrated with Cruz because, in my opinion, I spent one timeout too many just telling them, guys, relax, chill out. You have felt their power. They're not better than you 1-for-1.
Yeah.
Relax. There's no reason to press. We're winning the macro game. They can't out-aim duel us in most cases. You know, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, that didn't work out in the clips and in some of the rounds, right? So it's like, but Talon did a content video which just came out, and it was hilarious. But you hear me in that timeout, like, guys, stop fucking around. Get as many rounds as you can in the half. We're going to destroy them on the next half, but just chill the fuck out. Because I started seeing it early. By the way, this wasn't the game plan. We didn't have a PRX level game plan where it's like, yo, we're going to fight them. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We were just going to out-macro them, outplay them. And we did that.
And you did.
We were in so many advantages, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just throwing, bro. Like, it's insane. Yo, we went pistol. And, bro, in the pregame prep, it was, we are going to, on an anti-egos, just play retake. Just easy 5, play back, give them the sights, just retake on them, just make it clean. They have a chamber. Chamber's 1D'ing people, jump spotting and peeking, and it's like, we literally talk about not doing this. So this is where my frustration came, because it seemed like we got out of our
game plan.
Like, but it's not really quote unquote game plan. It's more like we got out of our own shit. Like, you know how it is as a player when you're in there and you just want to like make a statement. You're just like, fuck that, I'm gonna kill this guy. And that was, to bring this back, that was where my frustration with Cruz was like, I think he fell into that trap too. He was like, nah,
yeah,
fuck
definitely.
That. We're gonna destroy these. We're gonna bully these fucks. And I think that it gave them way more opportunities than either of us wanted. And I was very, worried that on Ascent we would do it too. Bro, you know Ban had 8 first bloods. We had 14 first bloods and lost Ascent, bro.
Yeah.
This is what I mean, bro. We were just,
I know.
for some reason, we just decided we're just going to, you know, like I said earlier, the Brazilian Madeira Macia quote, I don't know what happened. We blacked out. We just became brawlers and sluggers, and we're just like, nah, we're tired of people's bullshit. And then we go on Icebox, and we do the exact same thing, and it works. And then on defense, we're gambling with our money. We're not doing the things we're supposed. It's just like, I feel like every bad thing. It's not Murphy's Law, like, you know, every bad thing that happened. It's almost like, have you ever seen Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
There's an
Love Rick and
episode
Morty.
where there's like a machine that they suck out all the toxic or the toxicity in people, and they're only
Yeah, I
like
remember
nice,
that episode.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's happened to us. It was like all the ego-driven negative emotions and like competition. It's like that's all we were. No more macro. No more game state. No more reading time and place. No more any of that shit. We're literally just going to fuck them. And there is nothing they can do about it. And you create more openings doing this and playing that way because some of those players actually prefer the game to be that ugly. Right? Because you could tell that RQ is well coached. And you can tell that those players are good. You can also tell that most of those players were aimers that are now thinking about macro. So the instinct, going back to what I said about Ban, the instinct of these guys is still instinct. So if you want a ball, if you want to just like slug it out with aim, they're down. They're down.
You're basically
what I'm saying?
stooping to their level, and that's the problem.
Yes.
It's like when you have the advantage
Yes.
and you stoop down to a team's level, all of a sudden that advantage is gone, and it's an even playing field, and
Right.
that's not good.
Now, there's 2 good things that come out of this. Let's start with the first. I love that my guys have a lot of fuck you in them, because that's all that was, right? And still win, and still show that you know. And 2, if you're a good team, you have to beat good teams on a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
And we completely forgot how to play with advantage, and we didn't need it. As a matter of fact, 11-12, to win the game on Lotus, or to bring it to overtime on Lotus, we walk into a 4-stack. Their 4-stack. Right? We guessed wrong. Cruz, let's say, got out macroed. Didn't matter. If we, when on game point, when it matters, and you have to put your best set against our best set, and you guess right, and still lose, you can't look at me and tell me you're better. You can't. You have every literal thing going for you. We go in there with 4 people, they have 4 people, and we beat them, and it was a clean round. You cannot
You're not
say
there yet.
at that
You're not
point.
there yet.
You can't. So I think this is fundamentally what I think the lesson was this week coming out of that was like, you know, macro, you beat them. Micro, most of the time you beat them. But they're still professional players that are very talented and can punish you.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And that
at
is,
this
I
level,
think,
you can't. Yeah.
what we sometimes forget. And it's only because, I will say this, kind of my fault in some sense, because I was harping on this all week. Everybody thinks we're going to lose. Everybody thinks this team is better than you. Y'all fucking trash. According to everybody, RQ is a super team. When you use this as a coach to motivate, you also have to think about the other side of that. I am never doing that shit again. Because now I created this like
You created a monster,
Inception. Bro. Yeah. The inception of all these words of me going, bro, y'all trash, they're good, they're going to beat you, is what everybody's saying, bro. It's what everybody's saying. I used it to get them to kind of lock in and focus more on what the game plan is and that we're going to, outthink them. And we have these comps. And, I tweeted I was sad about the comps because if the maps went a different way, you guys would have saw some sick, nasty comps, right? You guys saw one on Icebox. But, so I was on a personal level, I was sad. Also, that was another thing. Cruz and I had a different opinion on what map should be played and picked. So this is another week where Cruz, or I said this in the scrum, but technically speaking, he deserves all the credit because I wasn't even going to bother playing Lotus against RRQ. I was going to do something else. I had an entirely different vision of how I thought things should have played out. And if we did the things that we were supposed to correctly, like if we took advantages of all the opportunities we had and all the leads we had, it would have been a clean 2-0. 14 First Bloods map 2, Lotus, the amount of 5v2, 4v3, 4v2 throws was just insane. And, you know.
Bro,
I
you
don't
guys
ever
would have
wanna
won
see
that
again.
map like 13-7, bro. If you didn't
I know.
throw.
No, I know. But Cruz had a different vision, and
Mhm.
I wasn't about it. But I said, okay. So if you notice, when we did the picks bans for the vetoes, Cruz was the one deciding this time, not me. I was just basically there. I was a fucking chandelier. I was just there for the look. Because he was like, he had a vision, he had a set, he had a goal. The moment he decided on it, obviously we came up with the game plan. We talked about like how to play. You know, we talked about some like, sure, like I was involved in that, but the complexion of the series and how it went down, that was all Cruz. I had no part in that because I didn't think that's what we should have done. But he was right. He knew that the low win rate that they had on Lotus was the way to go. Right? He knew that like playing him on Ascent and putting ban on Jet was probably the most destructive way for us to be able to break through the problems we had in the first
to be
week
fair,
and
Ban played
create.
great.
Bro, I have a little joke for Ban though. Ban giveth, Ban taketh. And his counter to me when I said that, because you know I was cooking the shit out of him in all these fucking VOD reviews, and he was like, "Hector, listen, but I'm Santa Claus. I give way more than I take, bro." So I was like, "Okay, fair." But
Fair.
yeah, bro, like I was so fucking upset in VOD review. It was not pleasant, I think, for them. But ultimately, I'm so proud of the fact that, like, yeah, you have to be
Closed
able
it
to beat
out.
good teams if you're playing bad. And it's not that I thought we were playing bad, but that was a case of ego getting in the way and us just like losing our heads a little bit. And that typically doesn't happen to us, but it can. And I
It
think
can
I
happen to
learned
anybody.
that I can't motivate the way that I motivated because I think I created like
An
know.
absolute monster. A monster.
yeah, and I don't ever want to see that monster again. So
Well, speaking of teams that fought fire with fire, thinking that it was going to be a good choice, DRX, with their change of firepower, lost to PRX. Go figure. Not much to be said here. They tried fighting fire with
Yeah,
fire.
Stax
It worked
said it
for them
all.
on Haven.
we
Yeah.
said it last week. Watch our show last week,
worked.
or
Hey,
whatever the fuck
but
I
it
said
worked on
so.
Haven.
Or PRX threw a massive lead, but
Yeah, I
Sure.
agree. I agree.
and
Anyways,
I can't talk. We threw leads too, so
DRX got completely rolled on the maps that they got rolled on. I mean, 13-4, 13-5.
yeah, we
so
played
go
we
figure.
played DFM and DRX. We played DFM tomorrow, and then Monday we played DRX. If we beat both those teams, and then Zeta in the following week, Zeta's the worst team in the league at the moment by record. We are second in. Yeah, we finished second in the season. So
Sick. Dude, I hope that works out.
I think we're meeting DRX at a good time, and it's the best chance, I think.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you know, so we got to do what we got to do.
Global
But,
Esports, they beat Bleed 2-0. I don't know what Bleed
Yeah.
needs to do, bro. I don't know what Bleed needs to do, bro. I mean,
It's
they're
funny
just-
because I actually don't think this roster of Bleed is that bad.
it doesn't
I just
look
think
bad.
The lack of reps and tournament, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's just
kind of
unlucky, man.
behind, running old shit like Lotus.
Yeah.
Even, I mean, Sunset. I get they're trying to copy Heretics, but you're trying to copy Heretics, but you don't know why what they're doing is working. That's the problem with copying teams. Is like you could try to copy their comp, but why do they run the comp? There's not a lot of teams that are running Sova KO on that map that run it the way Heretics do. That's not an easy comp
Yeah.
to play it by any means. Like you got to know what the fuck you're doing. Anyways, good on Global. Detonation Focus Me versus Zeta. You spoke about Zeta having the worst record. Obviously,
That is crazy.
they lost
I still can't believe that happened. That is insane, bro.
What happened to Zeta, bro? Like I could have swore that they were like a decent team. That
I don't know.
They would make internationals, and now
I
they're
don't
on a
know.
4-game
What I'll tell
losing
you is
streak.
their GM was quite disrespectful to me in the off season, and I would have been there and not here. And I am so grateful that he made the decision that he made and did not do any research and doesn't know anything about what he's doing. Because fantastic job by you, sir. Thank you so much.
Hey, talk your shit,
That's
bro.
it.
You earned it.
It
There's
is
no
what.
doubt in my
Oh no,
mind.
no, 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 no! You wait. You just wait. You
Gonna
wait
go
for
in, huh?
champs, bro. Oh, I got. You wait. For now, we gotta do what we gotta do.
So that was a wash. Again, RRQ takes out DRX. You want to fight shooters with shooters? Come on,
The
bro.
thing about
this is the mistake that your
RRQ
team
is-
almost made, bro.
They actually, but the thing is, they have macro. Like I said,
No, they do. They do.
well-coached
They
team,
do. They do. Yeah.
and
Yeah, they do. They do.
Their players understand
They're
the
willing to
game
shoot fire with fire.
tactically.
Yeah.
But if you aren't superior to them in an area, you're risking a lot by
Mhm.
some of these challenges. And I
Yep.
think, yeah, we dodge bullets, but they ate bullets. So unlucky.
Yo, real shit though. Like the performances from these guys, like specifically, how do I pronounce this guy's name? Is it Lemmy Moore?
Elmi more.
Elmy Moore? Motherfucker, 33 on Sky on split.
Bro, I
When
tried
you're
to get
running
him. I know
double
he carried.
duelist?
Yeah, I tried to get him. When I was a GM on Secret for their first season
Yeah.
of franchise, but I couldn't get him. No, Elmi Moore's good, bro. And then during
But
Chamber, man,
bruh.
he was like a strong APAC Chamber. He was destroyed everybody. No, I know. Wild Oreo also had a performance like that on Team Secret, where he just completely
Wild
owned the
Oreo's
split
been
with 30
having
kills.
performances like that, low key. He's been doing that.
Oh yeah, now the new shit in APAC is that Secret's better than we are. Oh boy, even though we
How
beat
many
them,
times you got to beat this team?
ev-
How
I
many
don't
times
know.
you got to beat
I
this
don't
team,
understand what's happening with APAC. Bro, these
bro?
people
You
lose
know
their
what?
minds.
Fuck it. Just
I
be
don't
criminally
understand, bro. Everyone is
underrated.
better than us. It's bro.
Just
it is
be underrated.
insanity
Fuck.
for me to see this
It's
shit.
so much
No.
better to play like that
I
than
don't
other ways.
mind.
Fuck it, bro.
Yeah, I
Fuck
don't
it.
mind being underrated.
Yeah, fuck
Like
it, bro.
I actually, I'll say this: it is much better that the expectation of us is much lower because it only helps the players. But I'm gonna say it is just crazy to me that it doesn't matter what we do.
Yeah.
Look, here's a narrative. If we went out and we finish second, I guarantee you it is a fluke. And more importantly, I guarantee you that the expectations of us to make champs are still going to be relatively low. And then when we get to champs, we're going to go 0-2 in groups. We're not going to go anywhere. We have no chance to beat anybody. I'm telling you right now, this is exactly what is going to be discussed. And I get it. And I actually encourage it because it is very helpful. I will not use it as bulletin board material like I use it versus RRQ because I saw what my guys could do when they feel like they have something to prove. So, but I am just quite surprised that, the narratives are what they are, given, I think, what this year has looked like. But unlucky, I guess.
Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows, bro? I don't know. Reddit and everybody, they be having some interesting choice of words sometimes, for sure. With not only just gaming. We've already talked about this before. You can't please everybody in this shit. But fuck them. Fuck them. We move on. Team Secret. They beat T1 2-1. I feel like T1 just need more time. They're not looking bad though by any means. I don't think T1's looking bad.
No, I do not
I
think
think
they're.
Stax is. Yeah, I think Stax is still having struggles with IGL. Is he IGLing? I think he is, right?
No, he's not actually, which
he's
is
not
to me
IGLing?
hilarious.
Who's IGLing?
No.
Secret?
Yeah, I would just say this. I think that no, he's not because he wants to perform. Because here's what we did
Who's
to.
IGLing?
Here's what we did. I'm pretty sure. I don't think it's back to Rossi, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be. If
Bro.
Carpe is not IGL, it's gonna have to be Excurate. But here's what I'll
If they
say.
had Rossi IGLing, bro.
No.
They had
He wasn't
Rossi
IGLing.
IGLing. Okay, I was gonna say, bro.
Yeah,
if that's the
no.
case,
They
bro,
did. But that was not gonna last long. Anyways,
No
here's what I'll
offense
tell
to
you.
Rossi,
Here's what
he's a smart
APAC
player,
did.
but
Here's
it's
what
hard to
APAC did. Here's what APAC did to their best IGL. They basically said the game has evolved past IGLing. The same shit that was said about FNS. The game has evolved past IGLing. What everybody is doing is going to aim, aim, aim. Everyone wants 5 aimers to match PRX because these motherfuckers think that that's like the way that you're going to beat PRX or to usurp PRX or any of this stuff because you have people that have not been around long enough that don't understand the ebbs and flows of this. First off, let's start with this. Stax now doesn't want to IGL anymore because stats matter. Performance matters. He can't shoot back. Why? Because he has to micro for the fucking people. That's why he can't shoot back, right? So you have a situation where like now it's like, yep, you're an APAC. You need to have 5 aimers. Who gives a fuck about macro? You need to try to instill macro if you can with aimers, and like you need to try to like beat good teams and all that stuff. Yeah, okay, cool. So now APAC's best IGL doesn't want to IGL because the stats are bad and because everybody makes fun of him and says he can't shoot. But you know what the problem with that is? Now what you do as a region is you're weak now because now you just said you don't want IGLs. You don't need the IGLs. You don't need to know tactics and macro. You just need aim. Which is to me kind of hilarious because if you look at what happens with G2 plays APAC teams, they destroy them. Yeah, sure, Gen G. Yeah, sure. I'm not even going to get into Gen G. Let's just call Gen G an anomaly. Let's just all be fair and say they are an anomaly.
They are.
Okay.
Yeah, they are.
So moving on from the anomaly, every other team now is going to try to play PRX at their own game, trying to out-aim them with people with less experience. Yeah, okay, good luck. So to me, what's sad is that Stax wasn't appreciated for, I think, the level of macro. And what's funny is if you listen to me and Cruz in some of our scrum interviews, particularly when we played DRX, and if you listen to some of like the scrum interviews post other teams, I've called Cruz the second best IGL at APAC. You know who was the first? Stax.
Stax. Yeah. You talked about this on our pod.
IGLing doesn't matter. If IGLing doesn't matter, then how do we have all these fucking leads against RRQs, a fucking super team? You think we do that because like we have aim hacks or fucking, we can see through walls? Or you think Cruz just knows exactly? He's like prepared. He knows exactly what the fuck to do. He knows exactly how to like stretch the defense, and then he knows how to hit a gap, and then he like. How did Jit make that play? Where's the opening for Jit to make the play on the one that you commented on? How?
The whole
Well, you think we just mysteriously just like highline all of a sudden and we have fucking telepathy and can like not speak and just this shit can happen? Or maybe you just have a competent IGL that understands the game and knows what to do and puts you in positions that you can't be successful. I don't know. You tell me.
Coaching staff, IGL, yeah.
I'm just trying to figure this out, right? Because the most decorated IGL you've ever had, and don't even get me fucking started on the fact that the people that are questioning him are talking about a tournament they won 14 years ago.
Shit.
It is insane to me that people get away with this. Meanwhile, I look at this as an outside observer and I go like, what are we doing? Just like I just commented on the Zeta GM. What are these people doing, man? Like it's just kind of like, and then I'm a jerk for calling it out, or I'm a jerk for saying something, or I'm just like this like weirdo that like is talking on shit that like you're not supposed to talk on. But then it's just like I could predict this stuff that exactly what he just said. I basically predicted on the show like a week ago, or like a month ago, and or whenever it happened, and I basically told you like I know what this was. This was a coach and IGL having philosophical differences, and the coach thinking I could just do this better with aimers. But in my opinion, not understanding the exact climate of what's going on in APAC, and more importantly, like, 14 years ago, 8 majors in legend status in CS. Experience teaches you a lot. And I know what it's like to drop Simple, the best player in the world, to keep the duo of Markelov and Blade. And it might have killed my company. The trajectory of my company might have been killed because the Simple went up. I couldn't get the sponsorships and the marketing dollars, and it might have been why I'm all of a sudden on Talon X amount of years later. What if I chose Simple? What if I get all the money that comes with Simple, right? Or if I didn't make the mistake of not signing Hiko and like Sean Garris and that roster way back when? What if we did that instead of going for performance? There's so many things I could question about like my own experiences, but the one thing I learned is that when you want to win consistently, you have to have, in my opinion, very smart people at the helm. And if I'm not playing, because I'm not, I'm trash. You should ask the guys in Sims. I'm playing Sims. I'm getting destroyed. I'm trying to give them good looks. You're right. But at the same time, I know I'm not playing. So all my experience is moot if I can't teach it.
Mhm.
You need someone that can be sort of like the legend, the
Godfather
like
figure. Yeah.
beacon. No. What I mean to say is you need like a beacon. You need for the information I have to be passed through some beacon to then be passed through to the players in game.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think I'm just going to be able to do that with 5 aimers in 6 months or 7 months or 8 months or a season where you have 5 days to prepare with nobody with high acumen, high intelligence, experience, like I think I don't know if it's possible, and if it is possible, I need to learn how. But what I have learned is if you have smart players that you can filter the information through, strong IGL, good principles for the team and the chemistry and sort of the work ethic and the work rate, you have a chance to get the stuff that's here, pass through there,
Mm-hmm.
and you see it here. So for me, it sucks seeing what Stax is going through because all I see is basically what happened to FNS in America and what happened to a lot of IGLs that can't shoot back because this is what everyone does. Everyone goes for flash. Everyone goes for, we need to build aimers. America went through this. You know that better than anybody.
Yep.
America went through this. You need to get 5 aimers. You just need 5 aimers and a good coach. Right? Then what happened? Then they started getting cooked at majors. So then what happened? Then we started going, damn, we need IGLing. But what happened? FNS went from, remember, we were beating them on 100 Thieves every time. They got so good. They got so like talented with Ye being able to play, you know, They beat us in Berlin. From there, you see this steady climb of performance because you had a strong IGL with strong
Stability.
players that is getting more experience, that is understanding the game better. And while you do that, now everyone goes, wait a minute, maybe you need a good IGL. And now look where we're at. Now we're at the other way. Now we just need aimers. We don't need macro. We need aimers.
And the cycle of life continues.
But what ended up happening this season? It all came right back. We were like, wait, maybe it's kind of hard to do this format or play this game or do this thing without this thing. So let me go grab Pujan and bring him back, right? And now you're beginning to see, like, I think G2 is fortunate because they have Valen, who's a young IGL that is very good. Moist as Flya. Like, you have, like, young IGLs that can aim and shoot and stuff, too, right? So now you have, like,
Mitch
these,
is
like,
pretty good,
unicorns
too.
almost. Yeah. But, like, in general, the adage was, you know, IGLs can't shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, can you win with that and can you lose with that? Or are you going to lose with that if you don't have it? And I think over the course of Valorant, if you don't have a strong IGL, I don't know if you can win consistently.
No, you can't. There's no way you can.
I think the only team that has done that technically is PRX.
Yeah, but
if you think about it, they're the only team that has done that.
Their results are so up and down, man. Like, it's like, yeah, they have that. Yeah, they could win a tournament, but as easy as they can win one, they can easily just bomb out like Shanghai, right?
Exactly.
So
because
the stability.
Because when you're relying on this, it's basically like if you think of any sport, baseball, football, basketball in America. I assume soccer's the same way, but I don't have the physical experience of playing it, so I don't know. But I imagine it's like this. If you're relying on your physical abilities, the day your physical abilities no longer, the day your physical abilities start to deteriorate is the day you basically fall off. That's where the term comes from. But if you're like someone that has the physical abilities and now the mental acumen, as your physical abilities degrade, the experience and the acumen you've learned kind of raise up, and that's what you lean on more, you know, positioning, you know, blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden, you start to realize you're playing at a certain level for much longer. While someone else next to you is degrading because you know, he doesn't have the game IQ, you're just still chilling. You may be going down because the league is getting better and young kids are coming and all that stuff, but you have more tools and more things at your disposal. It's not just aim. And in a game that has this amount of variables, you know, this amount of abilities, these amount of tactics and strategies and all that stuff, if we think that you need aimer, by the time they add 10 more agents, if your thought process is I need 5 aimers and not 5 smart players that can shoot, I am pretty certain you are not going to be here very long.
Yeah.
Like the day of just being
Yep.
it's why I brought Governor here from NA. The day of being a brain dead duelist is over.
Yep.
It's over. You can't. It's impossible now. And I think that is unfortunate for
It's not consistent by any means. It hasn't been for a long time. I mean, that's that. Literally it. No, I agree with you completely. And yeah, I think that there is a lot of value in veteran players. I feel like a lot of players like myself got overlooked because of that reason of trying to find a flashy young kid who's got good aim. To be fair, I get it. You know, like Demon 1 came out of nowhere, but it's not like he's some young kid either. He's not 18 years old. He's not 17 years old who's been waiting on the bench, you know? He was still a little bit more on the mature side too. If I'm correct, he's in his 20s, right? See.
Yeah, but if you look at how they played too, he wasn't the
21,
reason they were winning.
You know?
He wasn't the reason they were winning. He just has the
he was an
highlights and the
aspect
kill
of it.
record. Yeah,
But he's
like,
smart
that's
though. He's a smart player. He wasn't like a brain dead player by any means. That's the thing.
No argument about Max. I'm just saying
Right,
that
yeah.
like the notion that he was the reason is, I think, you know, a fallacy.
But that's how people looked. If you look at some of how these rosters were made, they're trying to find the next Demon 1. I get it. And maybe you'll strike gold, but it's so rare to find someone like that, bro. It's so hard. Like it's like nearly impossible to find someone like that for the moment and everything and about how it happened too. I mean, yeah, you could try to like bring somebody up, but do it the right way. You know what I mean? Like there's no way, like again, no offense to Paint. There's no way we're putting Paint in to even sub in for a VCT match when there's so many other players in tier 2 or whatever the fuck it may be that have experience that deserve that shot better. Why couldn't it have been QCK? Tell me. Why couldn't QCK have subbed in for that team? Maybe VC issues. But what you know what I'm trying to say though. It could have been
I know
anybody,
exactly what
bro.
you're saying. I understand,
you get
but
it.
I don't.
Why are we going for tier 3 player? Well, tier 3
No,
players.
yes,
Fuck it.
yes.
Why are we going
yes.
for tier 3 players? I don't get it. I don't get how this is the first. There should be steps to it, right? It should be okay. If you're looking at a tier 3 player who you think might be good, you try to get them on a tier 2 team, see how they do, and then maybe you bring them up for a couple scrims, see how they do with your team, and then maybe if you want to make the change, sure. But you don't just go all in on tier 3 players randomly like this. I feel like it's just the biggest. That's the professional aspect that we talked about earlier. This is a whole nother rant. Let's talk about EMEA. Get the show wrapped up. We're hitting the 2 hour
agree.
mark. You got time?
Yeah, let's go.
You got time?
Fast.
All right. So GIANTX versus Gentle Mates. GIANTX wins. Just something that I want to point out is it's been a while since I've seen Vitinho. Is that how I say his name? Vitinho. Vitinho. It's been a while since I saw this motherfucker on Duelist, and bro, I'm gonna be honest. I think he's better than Purple on Duelist. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I know we got our boy Redgar on the show before. That boy is better. I'm sorry. He's him. He's him on Duelist. He's confident. Guy dropped 30 in his one of his first basically games back on main Duelist. Well, main Duelist. I say that because he was playing Yoru. But he's fucking good at it, bro. It kind of hurts me to see him have to change. You know. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, but I think it's probably a need thing and a time thing. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think GIANTX. I feel bad for Redgar. I mean,
tell you what, they're closing games this split though. Closing the games.
They're beating NAVI for sure. I think that was a big win. I think losing to Koi tells me there's still so many problems, and I don't understand. I think consistency has been very difficult this season or this year for everyone. I've talked to you about this actually, that I think the ups and downs for everybody has been pretty high. And I guess to that respect, I should also say that I think we look consistent, but I can certainly say that I don't think we've played consistently. Right? Like, I don't think even us, we've had multiple weeks in a row where I felt like we played well. Right? Just because you grind out wins doesn't mean you're playing well.
Yeah, I was going to say
right?
that.
So,
yeah, I was going to say that. Like, yeah, you guys are winning the games, but even in the last game you guys played, where you probably should have won like 13-7, then 2-0'd the map. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah,
That
so
makes
I
sense.
think I don't know why Redgar's team is so inconsistent, and it's something that I hope improves over time. But I think the win versus Navi was incredible. But then,
Huge.
does it say that Navi is just shit? Because how do you get 2-0'd by somebody that loses to Koi?
Well, Navi has gotten 2-0 the last 4 matches they've played.
Yeah,
So
you know, they
they're-
made a
they're
coaching
going through
change. They made a lot of changes. I think
Doesn't
I think
make
the
sense.
time for this roster is probably done. And the sad thing is, I'll be very honest, I think that roster is good enough to win.
They've always
But
been.
I also-
They've always been.
But I don't think that roster is tenable anymore. And I'm not calling for anyone's head specifically, but I know if I were rebuilding, who I'd keep,
Mhm.
who I wouldn't, what I'd do. And I think it's over. I think next season you'll have an entirely new look. And I think it should happen, even though,
I think we're seeing that within Team Liquid as well. It's been such a similar story with them in terms of the
Nats, bro.
inconsistency.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they just
Nat's career to me,
it's kind of a shame. I feel like
he's
he
the
should
best
just go
player in
join a
Valorant
new
that
team.
nobody really.
He should just go join
know.
a new fucking a new roster. That
I
needs him.
tried last season. I don't want to say
Yeah.
too much, but there was a time, bro. I don't want to say too much because it is what it is. But let's just say I try to have a pairing of Zekin and Nats at some point, and that would. Yeah, I
That would've been
tried.
crazy.
I tried. It just wasn't possible because people are just people, but I think Nats is never gonna be appreciated as much as I think he could. Like, look at Benji Fishy this year and all the things that people are saying about Benji Fishy.
They were
We
saying
have
that
said
about
this.
Nats at one point. Yeah,
And the thing is,
literally.
he's not bad. Like, he's still that player. As a matter of fact, if I had one Sentinel to choose in a fantasy draft, I'm still choosing Nats. I don't give a fuck. And I know why. I know the system I'll have. I know the ways I'll build around him. I know why. And if you watch the tape, that technically hasn't gone away. Like, what he was then is not what he isn't now.
It's just a different environment, bro.
Yeah, everything is different, and I think his strengths. I'll say this: it'll never happen ever. So I'm okay saying this because this is like fantasy, right? If you give me Nats and Ban on the same team, you're fucked. You're fucked. I don't. If there's one person I know will understand what I mean, it's Cruz. I'm telling you now, the guy's not washed. That's the last I'll say about it.
Statistically, he's definitely not. So, but you know how people are. They're just so recency biased. If you're not winning everything, they're just fuckers. Hella annoying.
Right. And that to me, I think.
Annoying.
I mean, you know how I felt about Derek last season. When I was hearing that people thought he was washed,
Yeah.
I even hit him up and was like, dog, don't even listen. These people are borderline. You know what I was saying. They were saying Derek was washed.
A team
Like,
and like
what
the
are we
players
doing,
that
bro?
surround you, also coaching staff, everything, IGL, the main duelist, everything affects. Everyone affects one another differently, bro. You know what I mean? Like Derek on 100 Thieves, it just wasn't meant to be like that version of 100 Thieves where they got the upgrade of Cryo. It wasn't meant to be. But when he had Will on his team, which was like a very selfless fucking duelist player who had really good communication. I'm not saying Will is better than Cryo for that team. I'm just saying that
I know
certain
exactly
players
what you mean.
enable you better. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But like back to your thing with coaching and systems and how all this matters. Like situations matter for sure. I think you're 100% correct. I will never argue that down. But like even look at our perspective with Governor. I'm actually the worst coach for him. Actually. Because what was he known as? What was the rhetoric on him before?
Star duelist.
And he comes here and he looks like he has mediocre performances and he has all this stuff. And it's like, I took a guy that was a highlight, right? If you look at his YouTube channel, it was all highlight, like crazy shit he was doing. Look at the first game versus Secret, 16-3, 16-3. What did I realize right away? Oh, everyone is gonna he's gravity. Goes back to gravity. I noticed that immediately, just like I noticed that the 1-2 punch of him and Ban won't work because of the things I was seeing from the way teams are playing us. So then what do? Now I separate them. And it's like sometimes you're a victim to your situation and you adapt or die. And on a personal level, this is why we have, in my opinion, only one chance to win this year, to prove not only to everyone else that we are what we think we are, but also that we deserve whatever we get. Because if, let's say, all of this just blows up and falls apart, I just made him look like a dweeb, bro. But it's the way I thought we could win macro advantages by taking advantage of gravity. But people don't understand this. But when you look at the stat sheet, you'd be like, he's washed.
Okay, but
and this is, I think, back to my Derek thing. That's what I mean. He's washed, right? Quote unquote.
No, because the difference is for me is that you're showing the whole world that this guy can also flex into almost any role too. Because now you have him on KO. So low key, I feel like that goes a long way because now he's not limited to just being a duelist, and he could still be a star player on a different role. He's had some really good KO performances so far. But the fact that he's willing to play these roles and he looks good at it, I think brings value to him other than just being a star, on the team, because he could always be that star. But I think you are right, though. At the same token, people can also forget because this fucking game is fucked. Yeah.
Because I wonder, and this is no shot to Josh RT or Valen, no shot, Met. Because I know they're going to hear this, but if they want to take it that way, whatever, bro. Guarantee you if Governor was a free agent, they would look at the stats. They probably would have compared him and Icy. They probably wouldn't have even looked at Governor. And that, to me, is exactly the problem. And this is also why I said I was probably the worst coach he could have got with in that respect. Right? That's my point.
Could be.
At least
he would have gotten a tryout.
No, I'm telling you, no, he would not have. I'm telling you. I believe this to 100% be the case. They would not have. And in my opinion, that would be asinine. Now, I'm sure, knowing what they know now, knowing what they've seen now, knowing what they see our record is and all that stuff, I'm sure now it would be different. I'm just trying to say that, look, when you look at what the perception is and what the reality is, if you base everything based on exactly what we've been talking about, stats, and you're looking at the VLR and all that stuff, you won't unless you're studying and watching the game, and as long as you have a high level of understanding of what's going on, you are not going to see the value in people that you should see, or you are going to grossly misunderstand and mischaracterize players as being washed because you don't understand why the fuck is my Sova in this spot here? Why did this rotation not happen? Why all that stuff? Then you look at Derek and you look at the shit that happened last season and you wonder why or you think he's washed and you're just like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? What are you talking about? You're talking about Sova. Sova's mistake happened 3 mistakes before the reason, 3 mistakes after the initial problem. How are we doing this? And I think when you don't have that understanding, you're going to grossly underestimate players like, Derek, Governor. Like, Ban. Look what T1 did last year. They blame Ban. Look what I did this year. I said,
and Munchkin.
Huh?
And Munchkin.
Oh, yeah. Munchkin, funny enough,
yo,
you know
big
that
props
the
to
Munchkin
Munchkin,
move,
bro. Real shit.
the Munchkin move hurts Ban more than the Ban move?
Why?
I don't know. Ban literally goes, I don't know what the fuck T1 was doing with Munchkin. Before he's like, bro, I don't know what the fuck they were doing with me. Why'd they drop me? I'm telling you, he seems more butthurt about Munchkin because he's still in disbelief, bro, there's no way they dropped this guy. That guy is fucking insane. And
that's crazy.
So it's like, yeah, that's like a small little funny anecdotal story,
crazy,
but no, but that's true though. You look at the tape and you might be like, if you don't understand, you might be like, yeah, this guy's an idiot. He's dying every time, or he's doing this, or he's doing that, or he's doing that. And then it's just like, But in reality, you don't understand the systems, the structure, or the sequences of how things are supposed to play out. And maybe he's just in a shitty spot all the time, and maybe the play's bad, or the rotations are bad, or the comm's bad, or the timing's bad. And you have to see enough of this to start realizing there's a pattern. And when you start realizing the pattern, then you go, wait a minute, this is their first rotate? Why the fuck is this their first rotate every time? Why is it not this? Or like, why are they not acting like this to that? Like, it's like the drone conversation we had on Ascent.
Yeah.
When your reaction is bad, there's a house of cards that happen after. It's like, tuk, 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 tuk. And you as a player sometimes get fucked. Or a coach, right? Or like you have a game plan and the players don't follow the game plan, a la Furia. You know, unlucky.
Yeah.
So,
dude, there's so much that goes into this fucking game. It's insane.
yeah.
It's actually insane. And yeah, you're right. One thing can set off a whole clusterfuck of
Chain
events.
reaction of things.
But
Then you got GMs and people thinking this guy sucks. And it's like, he doesn't suck. This whole thing is just like trash.
That's why you need a good coaching staff. You need a good IGL, and you need to have players that are willing to, have an ego, but also set it back when the time is needed. And that's what really makes a winning team.
But before all of it, you didn't mention one thing. You need people in positions that understand how to recognize exactly what you just said. What makes a good coach? Why is this person a good coach? What has this coach actually done? What are his actual accolades? Let's compare him to some of the other. When you don't have people that can do that and properly assess that, there's no fucking way you're winning in this league, because you won't even know how to assess players. You won't know how to assess. You won't know how to do any of that. And then even before that, no offense, Riot, you need to have a system in place that doesn't grief its constituents, right? Like single elim playoffs, for instance.
Yeah, that's
because
fucked.
Look at DRX.
I don't like
5-0 in the season.
Playoff. I don't like the
5-0 in the season. They lose one time. They lose to an opponent they shouldn't once. They lost to PRX, who won the fucking thing. If you're mad about losing to PRX, fuck you. That's insane.
And then you make roster changes to no, crazy.
So again, goes back to, if you don't have people from the top of the chain of the command all the way down, if you don't understand these systems and how they work, then so
murked.
Unlucky.
Just gonna wrap up. Just some final thoughts on EMEA before we end this this stream. We've been going for 2 hours plus now. Big win from BBL and GIANTX, 2-0s in their respective games. But something that I wanted to point out the most was FNATIC, who have just been playing with like what seems like a fire underneath them. And talk about some big shoes to fill. Like, filling in for Leo is not an easy fucking thing to do for any player, in my opinion. For any player.
That roster is too talented to not be good. As you noticed, I've been steady as a rock here. I think, I'm not panicked. I'm not worried about FNATIC. They're going to be there at the show.
So sick too, bro. He's so sick.
Yeah.
But also, we were talking about people like playing ISO, and motherfucker Alphayer was a goddamn monster on ISO, bro. On Haven, when he was just sitting in short with that fucking shield up, bro. And he's just so confident because it's what we said. If you put a character like that in the hands of like an Alphayer, in the hands of like, oh, by the way, we were worried about this team. And what you said was, unless they put Alphayer on ISO, and dude, they did it. So these are all good signs, by the way. Even better signs than normal, because you were, the main worry that you had was, I don't know if this meta is going to be good. Like, who's going to play ISO for them? It can't be Durka. But now they have Alphayer on it, dude. And the way that they did it, I like that they had Durka on the Yoru on it too, to like make up for the fact that, you don't have like an extra set of flashes or whatever it may be. Dude, it looked fucking good, bro. And Alphayer, he's that guy. Like, he's that fucking guy, bro. He was just sitting in short A, multiple rounds with the fucking shield up. And he knows that if you don't fucking headshot him, he's going to take you out. Also, every single 1v1 this guy took, bro, he was a dog about it, man. He was an absolute dog. He would stand up after the 1v1, the round's still going, bro. And he would stand up and just laugh. Bro, he's a beast, man. He's a fucking beast. So that's just my closing statement on. Yeah, not much left to me to say. FNATIC. You said everything, and yes. And I hoped this is what they would do, and they have absolutely delivered. So, bro, they did. I hope they keep delivering. I want to see them at Champs. I just got word that I will be there. So for everyone watching, I should be there. long as nothing changes. So, you know, hopefully I get to see you, Korea, my brother. And maybe we can do the
no
pod
matter
together
what, you
there.
will.
Who knows?
No,
Yeah,
no
there
matter
you
what
go.
you will. Yes,
There you
we
go.
will. Yeah, we actually have to start organizing and talking about that now, including you, Steve.
Yeah, we gotta get Steve out too, bro. That'd be sick.
Passing thoughts is, I hope that the next time we speak, we are second in the league.
I hope yeah.
Because-
That's same. I'm gonna be watching
Yeah.
the games, bro. You know I'll be watching.
Yeah.
Sir.
And if we're not, then I'm trash. Let that be the title.
All right.
I'm trash.
All right. Thank you guys for watching another episode of Spike Talk. We appreciate y'all time. Drop some comments down below. We'll respond to some for the next week. Whatever
All right.
questions you guys have will be answered. So thank you guys for watching. I know you got practice right now. I gotta watch some One Piece, bro.
Peace.
Yo, later,
Peace out,
Steve.
gentlemen.
Hey, everybody. Peace.